Bodrix. Bodrix has correctly joined the channel. K-Pap Adara. Hey, not trying to promote anything. Just wanted to share what's worked for me. I've made
All right, there we go. We are live. I'm here. We are here. I'm about to get destroyed. That's what's about to happen. But anyways, do what's on screen because we are live, or they are live. And I guess I'll throw this over here. Yeah, why not? Boom. Look at that. Look at that. We're watching this, boys.
Are we live right now?
We are live. Yeah.
Do we want to introduce anybody or?
Yeah, this is Marte. Marte, tell people who you are, I guess.
I'm Marte Reyes. I'm an extension of somewhat of the Crucible, and also
oh God,
I'm a IFBB professional bodybuilder, a blood sport debater, and I love talking politics and social issues and relationship dynamics. And you can find me on X as Mighty Marte, and also Instagram as The Real Mighty Mouse, and also YouTube on
Wick.
The Edge. You can find my channel and tune in later.
What are you doing, Wick? Why do you keep black screening? What's going on, Wick? TV, come on now. Come on now. All right, well, let me, I'm gonna skip
electorate votes across violence in January 6th in order to pressure lawmakers.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be on this, by the way. I'm gonna be the last person. There's 4 people. I'm gonna be the 4th one. I'm gonna be talking about what what was it called again?
To accept the fake votes. Obviously, it ended up failing, but I would say that everything points pretty clearly to it being an insurrection. But like the plan is all like pretty open out there and everything else. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Marte. Why is that wrong?
So the reason why it's wrong is because we're not here to argue that Trump headed an insurrection, meaning like the electors. We're not here to argue the electors at all. So the elector scheme is irrelevant completely. If Trump tried to seat them down, there was no riot. If there would be no riot, there'd be no quote unquote insurrection. So, I mean, so here's the thing though, Destiny's going to try to bog me down with this elector scheme, which is irrelevant and doesn't make sense. It's nonsensical. So going on to my point, I'm not trying to gish gallop here, but his statements are not.
No, come on, man. Stop, bro. Stop projecting. Stop projecting.
Direct call to violence. As we've seen, the event was a disorganized protest at best, rather than a coordinated coup. Where's the coordination at? I didn't see a direct call for a riot or violence by Trump. Where was that at, Destiny?
There we go. That's
so
what
you say
say.
Disorganized protest, but didn't they all go to the Capitol building and then try to break into the Capitol building to circumvent the certification of the election? And didn't they succeed in that? Or did that all just happen accidentally?
So here's the thing, Trump, and I quote, "I demand that Congress do the right thing and only count the electors," which, by the way, is not even really analogous to this whole point, "who have been lawfully slated. I know that everyone here will be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically protest." Where's the call for violence there?
So that's actually the perfect encapsulation of the entire election. When he says Congress should only seat the lawfully slated electors, he's talking about his fake ones. And when he says everybody's going to march over to the Capitol to make your voice heard, he's sending his people, not in a disorganized manner, but in a very organized manner, over to the Capitol building to pressure Congress to accept his fake electors.
So once again, the elector scheme isn't relevant to the insurrection, by the way. So when we're talking about the insurrection, you're failing to bring up any points as far as the motivation. Where's the motivation?
To what? For what?
For this so-called insurrection that you're seeing.
The motivation is to stay in office for 4 more years.
Well, no. The motivation for anybody is to stay in
White
office.
Comrade
That's if
Agito.
they're running for Congress,
Louis Guy
governor,
tired
or
of streaming
anything
to
like
zero.
that. Everybody's motivated to do this. I'm talking about the insurrection. Where's the motivation
I'm gonna keep this
for
disabled.
the specific insurrection?
The motivation is to pressure Congress to accept his fake electors so that he remains in office.
Right. I can go ahead and pressure anybody to do anything, but we're talking about commanding people to do an insurrection on behalf
Okay,
of...
so here's a question. So help me with this, okay? So do you agree that everybody was there on January 6th because Trump called them to be there?
Well, as far as this, yes, a peaceful protest.
So he called them to be there. Do you agree that everybody went to the Capitol building afterwards because Trump said that they would all be marching to the Capitol?
He said to peacefully protest. Yes. Once again...
Do you agree that they all went to the Capitol building because Trump told them to go to the Capitol?
Not fitting the guidelines for any insurrection. We're talking about a peaceful protest.
I'm just asking a simple question. Did Trump tell them all to go to the Capitol building?
Yes.
He said to march over to the Capitol building. Yes. He specifically stated
he called all of them there on January 6th. They all marched to the Capitol building. Okay. They broke through the barricades and they started to break into the Capitol building to delay the certification of the vote. Did Trump make any effort until Ashley Babbitt got shot and killed? Did Trump make any effort to intervene when he was notified that the Capitol was being overrun?
Let's back up. You're talking about making an effort. Well, let's get past this first point. When did he state to break past the barriers or do any of this other stuff?
I never said that. I'm asking, did he make any effort to intervene once the barriers were broken?
So there's a timeline here. So he did text right after this, matter of fact, to go home in peace as soon as he could, urging rioters to go home in peace. The critics, they vaguely argue this was too late and included a sympathetic language like "we love you," things like this. But once again, this wasn't direction. This wasn't direction. You're saying
no one is talking about direction. I'm just asking, was it not the case that the Capitol was broken into and for hours there was a riot there before Trump told people to go home?
Destiny, my first point was intention and motivation. Can we get past this first?
No, you can't even answer my simple question, so I don't know if there's any point in this. So far you agree that everybody was there because Trump called them to be there on January 6th. They marched to the Capitol building because... What?
I had a simple question. Where's the intention and motivation? We're getting past this. Now you want me to ask your questions without even...
I don't know what you mean, the intention and motivate. The intention was to circumvent the lawful electoral vote slating process. That was what they wanted to do, and he did it. He managed to circumvent it for some time.
Entailment of proving this. Can you show me in any way where this was tied to a disruption? Meaning, like, if you're talking about this specifically, can you point to where he...
to commit
I just want
He
to.
doesn't have to say this for a riot. He
Okay,
doesn't have
so
to
then when
say
Trump,
this
so
for
Trump's final words in his speech were, and we fight like hell, and if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. How am I supposed to interpret that?
His final words were marching over to the Capitol building and peacefully patriotic protest. You're leaving this out, Destiny. When you're saying,
Sorry, hold on. I'll read the whole last program. No, that fight peacefully thing, that's not his last words at all. These are all of his, this is the end of his speech. And we fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. Our exciting adventures and boldest endeavors have not yet begun, my fellow Americans, for our movement, for our children, and for our beloved country. And I say that despite all that's happened, the best is yet to come. So we're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. I love Pennsylvania Avenue. We're going to the Capitol, and we're going to try and give, the Democrats are hopeless. They never vote for anything, not even one vote. But we're going to try and give our Republicans, the weak ones, because the strong ones don't need any of our help. We're going to try and give them the kind of pride and boldness that they need to take back our country. So let's walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. I want to thank you all. God bless you and God bless America. Thank you for being here. This is incredible. Thank you very much. Thank you. So my question, one question, and you can ask me whatever. Wait, one question, one
so
question.
he's walking
Just
down.
let me ask one
Okay.
question, and then you can ask whatever you want. I'll answer it. Can you tell me, after he ends a speech like that, saying "fight like hell and take your country back," when all of them walk to the Capitol, or when all of them walk to the Capitol building afterwards, and then they break in and they fight like hell to take their country back, was that just a coincidence?
Destiny, I know you like to gish gallop right now. You're not doing
I'm
that
not
with
gish galloping. I just read a quote and asked a question, but you're not going to answer it because you know the answer.
votes right now. This is what you're doing right now. I'm trying to answer your question right now, and you're just talking over me. I'm asking for the inciting of violence. I haven't heard that. I haven't heard anything as far as like inciting a.
I would answer Destiny's question and then move back to what you want to talk about, because like that is kind of like you kind of have to give. You have to be good faith in order to like justify demanding good faith from him. So that's kind of like what I'm gonna do. But
riot. I'm not hearing is that a
So then you're telling me then that it was just a coincidence that after this speech, it's a coincidence that
to you?
Just
it's
hold
a
on.
coincidence that after this speech, everybody went down to the Capitol, broke into the Capitol building, and delayed the certification of the vote, which is exactly why they were there to protest. That was all a coincidence.
You know what that would happen during a riot too, right?
I'm going to keep repeating the exact same question until he answers that. I'm just letting you know. But that's okay. We can do this for the next 20 minutes.
oh god.
Well, technically, the last words he said was "go home in peace," literally. And this was
I'm talking about the speech, and I'm going to repeat my question. So it was a coincidence then that the people who were gathered there on January 6th to protest the certification of the vote, that were told by Trump to fight like hell, that walked down to the Capitol, that they broke in and they got through and they prevented or they delayed the certification vote. That was a coincidence.
I like Trump, but the January 6th stuff, it was bad. It shouldn't have happened. I'm glad that Trump did something about it, even though it wasn't as fast as Destiny wants him to have like did anything, but it happened within hours. So it's not like he sat there for an entire day while the Capitol was like burning or whatever to do anything about it. But like, no, and it was a few hours. Someone got shot, and then he was like, you know what? That was like explicit violence. Shut it down. We don't go home. Like he did say that afterwards, but Destiny, like you don't even need to go through this dialogue tree and like get stuck on your thing. All you got to do is just answer these questions and then get to the end of it and be like, yeah, but Trump after that wanted to like diffuse everything because he didn't want this to happen. Obviously, Trump didn't want this to happen. Like, you can do your intent thing, but after you go through Destiny's dialogue tree to kind of soften the blow a little bit. But like, no right is good. So like,
I would say yes. This can coincidentally happen in any riot situation.
It up. We fight
through votes. We fight through free speech. We fight
You
through
can't fight through votes. The election was over.
Well, hold on. No, there's still a vote, meaning our speech. We vote in the way that we talk, in the way that we walk, in the way that we protest. So there's still quote unquote hypothetical votes that are still happening through our presence, through means of protesting and walking. So that's what I'm referring to when I say voting. So not only do we vote this way, we vote by our dollars when we buy things. So what I'm saying though is that I'm still waiting for proof or any evidence that this was incited by Trump and led by Trump, even though he spoke to peacefully conduct this and march this towards the Capitol. I'm still not hearing this. You saying simply fight. This could be a fight through our voices, through marching, through protest, which is peacefully. I'm not hearing any of this stuff. I'm not hearing intention or motivation.
So then tell me, what type of evidence would you need? Would you need Trump to say, you need to go to the Capitol building and break into the Capitol building and commit treason? Is that what you need?
I mean, that would basically help, but I don't see anything.
That would only help?
Can I ask, what short of that would you consider evidence, Marte? I'm just curious.
You mean my threshold as far as
what's your
like what
threshold?
would you consider? I would say I need you to go ahead and do them in bad, specifically them. Meaning like I need you to go ahead and just put a stop. Like meaning like let me clarify this, right? Let me offer a clarifier. Something akin to creating treason. Any language as far as causing treason, meaning overturning an election. I don't hear any language as far as this.
Wait. Any treason like overturning election? So he said in the speech, okay, you look back there all the way to the Washington Monument, it's hard to believe. We must stop the steal, and then we must ensure that such outrageous election fraud never happens again and can never be allowed to
All right,
happen
give me
again.
2 seconds.
What does he mean when he says stop the steal there?
Meaning that there's an
Okay, when Trump says, all of us here today do not want to see our election victory, what victory? He lost, stolen by emboldened radical left Democrats, which is what they're doing, and stolen by the fake news media. That's what they've done, and that's what they're doing. We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's theft involved. Our country's had enough. We will not take it anymore, and that's what this is about. And to use a favorite term that all of you people really came up with, we will stop the steal. What are they trying to stop there? What are they doing there? They're going to use their speech?
So motivational speech to incite people to peacefully march towards the Capitol. I mean, this sounds
Hey, is my thing
treason
flipped?
then.
Is my
Is what flipped?
my camera stuff like you can read the words in my camera?
No, I can't. But you do have like a 1 second delay between your video and your audio.
Yeah. That's gonna be an issue. Oh wait, you know what? It's probably because I'm streaming, but actually no, because I'm doing this from OBS. There's like a 1 second delay. So like, what's first, my voice or the camera?
Say something again.
Words.
Oh, now it's in sync.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Probably was a GPU rendering delay.
Maybe, but there's no way a 4090 can have a GPU render delay.
Oh yeah, your 4090 should be fine.
Yeah, I'm looking at I have all the stats of everything, and
Yeah, you
we're
should be
barely hitting 50% utilization on the encoding.
Could have been
cores.
network related.
I think it could be the network, because I am streaming live, so
Yeah. Something to do with your upload speed.
yeah, definitely. I have that also in check as well, but I'm like hitting the theoretical limit of my service. Kinda.
Oh yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah,
As
I've
a
got
good-
gig up, so the services won't accept how much I can push to it.
Let me just ask the
Subtle brag.
both of you, because I'm a bit technologically illiterate. What are your secrets on learning how to work computers? Because I know nothing about operating or software or anything like that.
Honestly,
In the big,
it's just a
you
passion.
go.
It's just a passion. Like there really is no answer to that. You kind of just have to like computers or not like computers.
That's my issue. I don't like computers. It's just, in the world we live in, you kind of need to know them nowadays, right?
Yeah, because I
So-
grew up with it. I kind of cheat coded it. So like, I think I started. My dad bought me like a PS2 when I was like 10, and then I got like a laptop when I was like 13, and I never went back.
Yeah, so I would say the most important skill you can have when it comes to IT in general is learning how to know what you don't know. So figuring out, and with LLMs, this does help make figuring out what you don't know a lot easier. So like, you can ask ChatGPT, like, explain, like, I'm someone with no internet experience. How does X thing with a computer work. And from there, when it gives you the output, ask more questions and just keep asking questions. And sometimes, actually, usually when it comes to basic IT, it'll very rarely be wrong. But it's really about knowing what you don't know and then asking questions about those things that you don't. So an example is like if you don't know how streaming works, you can just go hop into an LLM at any time and say, explain to me the basics of how a Twitch stream operates from a technical perspective. And it'll give you some stuff. And then off of those should spawn new questions because you're like, oh, well, you mentioned this thing. What is that? How does that work? Because really, when it comes to IT, all of our knowledge just comes from us not knowing how to do a thing and researching how to do that thing. And so you kind of want to speed run figuring out what are the things you don't know to learn what those things are.
Yeah, I think the key is understanding how to find the information that you need. Because, every time when I'm doing something with OBS or a piece of software, you kind of have to understand how to use Google or search terms or how to put things into the search system to get what you want, but also know how to not do it improperly, because you could put in something that's very similar to another thing and get completely irrelevant information. And yeah.
See, the best, easiest way for me to explain this is in my typing class when I was in middle school, everybody else had a computer from the late 90s, and I had a typewriter because they didn't have any more computers. So when I was trying to figure out how to just set up my OBS streaming stuff, that alone took me 3 weeks of different YouTube videos and whatnot. So thank you for the advice, because I will be taking advantage of LLMs like ChatGPT and whatnot. So thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds like a speech to question, maybe an investigative process or fact-finding process.
LLMs can take you a lot farther than
still back
people like to admit, so long as you know what you're doing at the very least.
Yeah.
At least at my job.
It could lead someone that doesn't know how to use them to a completely different path, depending on how they put the how they ask the LLM to do stuff, Because
yes,
sometimes it can it'll give me the wrong information, but I know why it gave me the wrong information. But sometimes you don't really know though.
But to be fair, right? The mistakes people make in their first week with LLMs are the same mistakes that my junior developer makes or my junior developers make in their first year of employment. So to a certain extent, it's the reason why LLMs can highlight those mistakes that people make is because you're very much accelerating the iteration processes of going in and learning how to do stuff. Because it's kind of one of those things that's really funny to me when I see people complain about how terrible the code quality of these LLM outputs from these vibe coders are, and I'm I've seen a pull request from a junior developer that's just as bad as this, right? And they went to 4 years of CS school, and that same vibe coding developer now 6 months later understands how to architect a little bit better and how to actually follow coding patterns and how to constrain the AI. And the code they're putting out is a lot harder to tell was made by AI if you didn't look at the write date of the files and realize that they basically built this feature in under an hour. So that's at least been my experience. So,
and to be honest, I'm not really.
See, the only real issue.
No, you can go.
Oh, please go. Forgive me. Well, all I was going to say is the only thing that's kind of funny about all of this is I was the guy who was anti-AI with Wick on his live panel show.
I wish I was on that.
I'm being told to turn around to that.
I am a big AI maxi, but obviously
if
not.
you ever want to have a private convo in the future about it, I'm down.
Sure.
Because for me, it's mainly just the social and economic ramification.
Uh-oh.
Looks like I'm going in. soon at least.
All right, I'm gonna.
Excuse me, he was literally tweeting as it was going on. How can that be a number of errors if he was tweeting?
Going up and down as we speak. So, yeah, okay. These are bite sized. So even if it gets a little frustrating or a little annoying, that's why we keep it short and sweet. Okay. So the next topic we got coming up, gang, is going to be the SARS-CoV zoo, whether it was from a lab or from a zoonautical event. Oh,
There we go.
Hello.
you got a camera for us, sir.
Yeah, I'm good.
Hey, tell people who you are, what you do.
Oh yeah, I need to do that.
Yeah, I'm Deej. I orbit Destiny not Destiny, sorry. I orbit Wix sometimes, and right now I post on Twitter.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here. Really appreciate you. So today the topic is SARS-CoV-2 almost certainly came from a zoonotic spillover. There's no reason to think it was leaked from a...
What is this? What is this? Actually, hold up. I'm gonna delete that just for a moment. What is your argument going to be? It is going to be, I need to... So Destiny gave me an argument for me to... Sorry, I have so many things open.
Lab?
For me to... Let's see. Trump's campaign likely did collude with Russia, but we'll never know. That's my prompt. And I did some looking stuff up. So yeah, I think all I really need to do is give, because like he gave like an unfalsifiable claim. So I just need to prove. I basically just need to show that he probably didn't collude with Russia. And we got literally the Mueller report saying that he did include. What is he going to be like with Roger Stone and Manafort? Well, I did a lot of researching in the little bit of time that I had, and those names are very familiar, and I got a lot of notes. Manafort, no coordination. Roger Stone. What was the deal with Roger Stone again? Let's see. Here, I'll actually keep this thing on. So whenever you type, I can actually
Ryan
hear it.
Yalden hashtag 039 S notebook. Oh boy.
Yeah, this is gonna be something. Manafort polling data. Destiny could not rebuttal. Both Mueller and Senate Intelligence Committee concluded that this did not establish coordination with Russia's election meddling efforts, and no charges were filed filed for conclusion. I can't read. It was business as usual, not a conspiracy theory. I'm also going to keep hammering the conspiracy theory point and how this is kind of a conspiratorial type of point for him to make, and make fun of the fact that he was making fun of a bunch of MAGA people, saying that they don't know, saying that, they don't know, they think dinosaurs don't exist or something like that. Basically just pointing out that MAGA people are just hypocrite. They just know, all they go off is like conspiracy theories and stuff like that. And I'm like, you're kind of doing the same thing. So I kind of want to say that. That's one way to look at it. Roger
Ryan
Stone.
Yalden hashtag 039
Good
S
luck.
notebook. Good luck, big dog.
Yeah. I'm going to crash and burn. It's going to be fun though. Super nervous though. Still dossier allegations. Rebuttal testosterone was uncorroborated. The dossier was uncorroborated rumor discredited by the Durham report as based on unveils unvetted sources with FBI confirmation bias. It was opposition research fiction. Trump's public call to Russia, and this was kind of like, if he mentions that, it was just a joke. But I guess we'll never know. Let's see.
Destiny, give your opening thoughts, and then we'll get into it. Same rules, same thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's basically my opening. I mean, the pattern of infections all spreads from the wet market. We have good epidemiological and genetic evidence to see that it originated from the wet market. There's literally zero evidence whatsoever that it even came from the lab at all. I don't even know how, short of like some insanely secretive plot that nobody knows about, there's literally no explanation for how it could have originated from a lab in Wuhan.
Okay, go ahead, Deesh. Take it away.
So your stance really is that you think that there is no evidence to suggest that it could have stemmed from the lab.
To suggest, there might be a couple things that cut in favor, but generally speaking, no, all the evidence points towards zoonotic spillover. And
how hot, like when we're looking at the standard of evidence that we have pointing towards it being a zoonotic spillover, how highly do you rate the level of evidence that we have to confirm that that is the
confirm,
source?
I don't think we'll ever know, but I'd say 90 to 95%. Basically, it's 100% unless there is there would have to be a whole planned, contrived plot from Chinese operatives to take that virus and then leak it to the wet market on their own without anybody knowing about it, and there's no evidence of it.
So, sorry, I just want to make sure that I understood what you said. So basically, you think that the only way that it could have come from the lab is if China intentionally leaked it from the lab?
Well, took it to the wet market and leaked it, but even that theory would have a lot of problems that would be difficult to contend with.
Okay, and how, I guess, because I'm not gonna get into some of the facts if we agree on these.
Sure.
The virus, do you know how the spillover occurred in the wet market?
I think the theory is that there were two separate spillover events, most likely from the raccoon dog stalls in the southwest portion, I think, of the Wuhan wet market, the Wuhan seafood market.
And why is that the most likely theory?
When you take samples from the area, all of the epidemiological evidence seems to center around stalls that are located in that part of the market. They're the most that test positive for samples that are confirming the SARS-CoV-2 genome, because all of the cases, the very first ones, of the first 5, I think 3 or 4 had direct links to the wet market. The first person I think that they theorized was sick was a wet market worker, and then all of the cases spread out about as you would expect epidemiologically from the wet market.
So, Are you suggesting that we know the intermediary host for the virus?
No, I don't think we do, but I don't think we need to. We don't know the intermediary host, for instance, for SARS-CoV-1 as well.
That's not true. We know what it is.
We don't know the spillover event for SARS-CoV-1. We absolutely don't.
We found that out within 6 months.
We don't.
The intermediate host for SARS-CoV-2 was civet minks.
We don't know that either.
No, we do.
And can you provide?
You can source me after, I guess.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and. Do we want to do sourcing on this call?
Yes.
I mean, I'd be curious because I've never seen that, and I've read a lot of papers on this at this point, so that's pretty crazy. When you say that is the intermediary host, you mean that the spillover event was found, or you mean that this is a host that can facilitate the virus and transfer it to humans?
Yeah, so if you just do a search for SARS-CoV-2 intermediary host, it's going to say an intermediary host is not found. If you do a SARS-1 search for the same terms, you'll find that we do know what the intermediary host for SARS-CoV-1 was.
Can you explain it?
And that was discovered within 6 months.
Can you explain it for the audience?
Wait, my bad. Hold on. Yeah, sorry. Okay, I think you're correct there. I spoke too quickly. What I said is we don't have the spillover event for SARS-CoV-1. We might have, in retrospect, found the intermediary host, but we don't have the exact spillover event for when it occurred.
Correct. And but that intermediary host is, I would say, not trivial. Because that is the explanation.
You didn't speak too fast, Destiny. You didn't speak too fast. All you did was you just You just misspoke. You just misspoke.
COVID-2. They were tested later, older flu, but like they tested all of these later on. None of these people had COVID. And if you would believe that they had COVID, it would have been like 2 months before the outbreak.
God.
So how can you account for like the cryptic transmission where just a couple people were infected, but it didn't have an outbreak anywhere besides the wet market, which is where it eventually outbreak from. Yeah.
So when were those tests on the subjects done, and who was performing them?
The seropositivity tests would I want to say they were done sometime in 2020. But when a lab worker gets sick, you take a blood sample and then you keep it on storage so you can test it later if you need to or whatever. But none of those people were, nobody's ever tested positive from any of the lab workers for COVID.
Well, I mean, a lot of people tested negative for COVID.
You know what? I think I'm going to make this enjoyable on myself. I'm not going to go facts. I'm going to go feelings and watch them squirm. I'm going to go feelings and screw the facts. I'm done with this fact stuff. I just need to chill.
It did still have COVID as well. Like
well, there might have been people who were asymptomatic.
Pretty simple.
There was a reason why I ended up skipping or dodging the last debate that I said I was gonna have with Destiny. I skipped it. There was a reason I skipped it. I'm starting to realize what that reasoning was again, but I'm locked in. I can't leave. I'm locked in.
Reason, which is like you're more likely to spread the disease when you're touching and handling things that people are eating. So obviously, if they frequent the wet market, they have the disease. Right, similar to like.
Wait. Frequent the wet market.
Hold on.
Let Deej go. Go ahead, Deej.
Yeah, because if we're gonna say that, well, one person, getting the disease in the hospital, traveling a couple of miles to the wet market and introducing it to the wet market is not likely. How is it likely that the disease would have traveled thousands of miles from the initial reservoir along a whole animal trade in a whole bunch of different cities before getting to Wuhan without any of those places first exhibiting COVID-like symptoms?
Yeah, so that explanation is actually super simple. And the reason is because that animal trade is still illegal and it's done via smuggling in China. So the conditions are pretty dirty, but people try to keep it secret. These are literally things that are being smuggled from the South China Cave area where you're trying not to get caught by officials, and then animals are moving from cage to cage. There might have been workers along that trade route that maybe did get asymptomatic infections, possibly, but it's far more believable to think that somebody that's working in animal smuggling might be either a little more careful or a little more isolated because they know that they're dealing with bad shit and they don't get caught by authorities, versus a guy at a lab got sick and then traveled 12 kilometers to a wet market, only spread it there, went back to his home wherever he lived, and never was a super spreader from any other location. They just super spread at the wet market, where it's not like they're going there and touching everybody else's food and giving it to other people.
Well, but I mean, you could argue like all of the cases were linked back to the wet market, but that doesn't necessarily mean that like the only place that the spread occurred was at the wet market. It just means that the original source went there. So like if let's say one of the researchers, right, they come home, they kiss their wife, they spread it to their wife, and then the researcher then goes to the market, or the researcher's wife then goes to the market. It's very likely, in fact highly probable, that the wet market would still be seen as the initial threat vector because it is a circumstance where the disease can propagate more easily and faster.
Why would the disease propagate more easily in a wet market than like on a train to the wet market or in any of the number of intermediaries?
Because people are buying a bunch of stuff. People are buying and exchanging physical objects all the time at a wet market. And also it's a wet market. There's places where the virus can stay on, like food and stuff. Like it's easier for a virus to sit inside of a moist food type of environment, like I guess fish, like the body of a fish or something like that, than just on a plain surface on a train. Like it'll doesn't the virus die in how long? In a couple seconds in direct sunlight on any surface, basically?
Stops. Also, I don't even think there's any evidence that links any of the people at the lab to the wet market. But let's assume they did go. Let's assume they went.
The evidence is that they were working on coronaviruses. That's it.
Right from the lab, right to the wet market. How do they take a 12.1 kilometer journey, however many train stops, train rides, train stations, internal, and don't spread it to a single person? And then at the wet market, they spread it to a ton of people. And then they take the train all the way back, don't spread it to anybody, go home, go back to the lab. How?
Well, they're researchers. Maybe they had a car, right?
So they
I mean, you asked, like, we can quibble over like all the potential ways that this could occur, but your stance was there was no way that it could have spread from the
yeah, because
lab.
first of all, I don't think that, well, because one, we're already on a hypothetical where there's no seropositivity for any of them involved. There's to this day there's zero evidence that anybody at that lab was infected. Not only is there zero evidence, there's literally pictures of them going out to dinner like 3 or 4 or 5 days after the first infection starts showing up at the wet market. So they're sick, they're spreading it to some people at the wet market, but nobody else. They have a car that they drive right to the wet market. There's no evidence of that, by the way, whatsoever, that any of them were traveling to the wet market. They didn't take any public transport anywhere, even though it's insanely common in China. They didn't spread it to any of their friends. Like, that's just, it's so impossible to believe all of those coincidences in a row rather than it came from a wet market, right?
I would agree with you if China was being transparent, but what was China's initial first response to the disease, and then what was their response even after the initial outbreak and it had spread? And also, I would like to see how you would compare their response to SARS-CoV-2 versus how they responded to SARS-CoV-1.
Well, their first response was to deny it, and now their current response is to say that it came from the United States.
Exactly.
That is one. So they did put out a white paper, and they said that it potentially could have come from the United States, but to like pay attention to what the international community and scientists say.
Yep, and all the international community and scientists, all the research, the scientific research is all focused more and more and more on the wet market. Like, all of the evidence is continuing to point in that direction.
Actually, yes, you're 100% right. They all do focus on it. And what
not focused as in biased that way. I mean, all of it, it's pointing in that direction. There is not a single piece of scientific evidence that's pointing in a different direction.
So I heavily disagree with you there, because initially, even during the time when China did allow WHO researchers in to look at their curated evidence, it was considered racist and a conspiracy theory among the scientific community to promote the lab leak theory. So kind of this idea, when the evidence was hot, that they were looking equally into all potential like sources of where it could have come, just isn't really true. It was heavily politically biased from the beginning,
was heavily biased.
against even considering the lab leak.
Incorrect. That's a very American Western perspective. It was against considering China as a source. Because if we want to say that China intervened, I agree with you. That's why we have...
Wait, so they were correct. He was correct. This person was correct. Dean was correct. Like, you just framed it in a different way. Like, oh, but China didn't want it. Oh, China, that's what China... Okay, yeah, okay, so we're going to care about China's perspective. Get out of here, Destiny. Get out of here.
No live animal samples, because one of the things that China did is they went to that wet market and they slaughtered and removed every single live animal. The only epidemiological evidence we can point to is the remains and stuff that exist in the sewage drains outside of the stalls. All those animals were slaughtered before they let people into test. And they even removed the characters on the boards that said live animal sales when there were people taking pictures there.
Yep. So that makes kind of the claim that there's like the claim that we definitely know like that the disease transferred from, say, the raccoon dogs to humans isn't actually that strong, because the evidence that would allow the scientific community to make a strong claim for that has been deleted. And that's part of the problem.
It hasn't been deleted. They couldn't know, because there's still a ton of evidence in the drains. You could link it back.
Yes, a lot of dead animals that could have literally just had the virus in their DNA, in the same way that if I had COVID and got in a car accident, I'd still test positive for COVID.
Yeah, but all of the cases spread from and originate from, and the density all spreads out from the wet market.
Yeah, sure, but that's a lot of it is natural due to the conditions in the wet market, making it a playground for the diseases to spread. That's part of the reason why we criticize wet markets in general.
No, that's not a reason why. The reason why is because they're bringing in animals that are infected with diseases that can likely spill over to humans. There was a research.
You just said the same thing, but with a different perspective.
That went in 2014 that literally took a picture of the exact stall that the raccoon dogs were kept in, and said this might be a really bad deal in the future, and that's literally the exact same stall where SARS-CoV-2 came from.
Sure, but here's the thing, right?
But
that
wait,
can all be
real quick, just on that claim, you keep saying that the wet market is an ideal place to spread it from. No, it's not. Wet market was a giant open air, basically, or if it wasn't open air, the ceilings and tents were really, really tall. It probably would spread better in hospitals, which it did. Probably spread better in supermarkets, which it did. Better in malls, in any high density area. I don't know why we would assume that wet markets are the best place for it to start spreading.
Well,
the wet market would have been the first best place for it to spread. Obviously, it got into all these other locations and was spreading faster, but still.
I mean, okay, if we're going by like U.S. standards of like how we handle food, I'd agree. But again, like to your point, right? COVID can transmit from a human to an animal and then back into a human. Like we know that's part of like the research that we have done. We know that it can do that, and it did do that, right? People contracting it from their pets or from somebody else's pet. So it's kind of, I don't necessarily want to get bogged down on whether the wet market is an ideal condition or not. COVID could very easily spread in that environment and situation, which is why, like, whether it was introduced via a bat or whether it was introduced by a human who spread it to an animal, it would spread similarly within those conditions.
I don't disagree with that, but that's why I said we would have to have a theory that can account for somebody getting the virus at the lab, taking it over to the wet market, not being infected themselves, and not infecting a single other person in any other area. And we would also have to account for a whole bunch of that. I agree. That's why I didn't say 100%, but that's an extraordinary claim. And not only is it extraordinary because we would have to have a whole plot to do that, which would be hard to explain why would you do that, but we would need a whole plot for that to happen. We would also have to explain how did they create a brand new virus using a unique viral backbone, using amino acids that weren't.
All right, I'm going AFK. Give me a moment. Did I get moved? No, I did not. Good.
Predicted by any known. There's basically no evidence to support that.
Reservoir of the virus for SARS-CoV-1 than it did for SARS-CoV-2. Despite the fact that China was more transparent,
I would have to. So I don't know how important the fact that we did not find the original crossover for SARS-CoV-1, and we didn't find the original SARS-CoV-1 in any animal population. I would be curious to see where that comes, because my understanding is that's just never the case. I'm looking at this now. I don't think that we ever found that original crossover. I think the closest we got was like less than 94%, maybe. In terms of like when they were looking for it a long time ago, but
I would venture that bolsters the point I was going to make, which is why is it that we were able to find the reservoir for SARS-CoV-2 so fast, relative to
I
the
don't
fact
think we
we
ever
haven't
found
found SARS-CoV-1.
we didn't find the reservoir for SARS-CoV-2 either. The closest we
That's
found.
the whole zoonotic spread hinges
Mm-hmm.
on the idea that it came from one of these two reservoirs of bats.
Yeah, but you don't necessarily always find the original animal. Like it's just
Well,
doesn't happen.
no, not the original. So with SARS-CoV-2, right? We very quickly found out the original species virus where it kind of incubated, and then from there spread into another animal where it transformed into something that could be spread to humans. With SARS-CoV-1, we very quickly found the animal that spread it to humans, but to your point, we still haven't found the animal that animal contracted it from. And so,
Sure, but I guess like SARS-CoV-1 didn't that have like 6 or 7 different spillover events before it turned into a pandemic? Like I just don't know what the comparison is or why.
well, it was more local. It was more locally contained. It wasn't nearly as infectious, but it was a lot more lethal, which is part
And
of the
then
reason
also for
why there
the-
was the scare with
For SARS-CoV-1, like we're not saying that was like a lab leak, are we?
No, we're not saying that, but that's kind of my point is if China, like if we're going to go based off past precedent of what China treating a pandemic level event kind of looks like, their response to SARS-CoV-2 and SARS-CoV-1 are very different. And when you couple that with intelligence agencies, which I think probably have more intel on what China is or was not studying, both Germany and the US, and I believe Australia, find it most plausible that it did come from a lab, suggests to me that there's information that we don't know because China destroyed it, that intelligence agencies are aware of, and that SARS-CoV-2 most likely did come from a lab. Now,
So
it could have come naturally as well.
Sure. To be fair, real quick on those intelligence reports, those are low confidence. They admit, number one, and number two, they also introduce some evidence that we know now is just not true. Like the
Yeah, it's low confidence, but it's still confidence.
idea that researchers were sick, like in the fall or whatever. It's epidemiologically impossible to assume that virus was infecting people 3 months before an outbreak. We know how SARS-CoV-2 spreads. We've seen it spread in almost every single human population across the globe. At no point is there cryptic transmission for 3 months and then it explodes randomly in a wet market.
But
wait, real quick, because you're going to get the final word, I think, on things.
Yeah, we're wrapping up.
So I'm just like, the argument for zoonotic spillover is that we've already found 97% similarity viruses that are circulating in bat populations in the same caves that we know the wet market stalls were selling animals from. That Huanan Seafood Market literally had more wet market live animal sales than any other wet market in the entire country. The idea that people went there was an animal that was infected, zoonotic spillover happens there, is easily accounted for in every single piece of evidence. Every single scientific investigation has pointed in that direction. Even though China tried to cover it up in the wet market, they got rid of the figures on the signs. They tried to kill all the animals before they let people go in and test. All of the epidemiological data from the samples tested on the site, all of the epidemiological data from people who got sick and went to the hospital afterwards, all of it points to it originating from the wet market. No researcher was ever shown to be sick with COVID. None of the seropositivity ever occurred in any of those people for COVID. We've seen it spread in the same way across the entire rest of the world. And we've seen the when you break down like the actual analysis of the virus itself, like it's a novel backbone. It's never seen anywhere else in the world to account for them creating a novel backbone for a virus and then
See, this is why I'm going to get destroyed. I'm going to get railroaded like this, man. I'm going to get railroaded.
Creating an infectious part of it that not only infects humans at a super high rate that was never predicted by any computer models, but also left out some very easy mutations. Like there's the amino acid 614 that goes from D to G or whatever. Like that mutation occurred like in a single generation. This is stuff that if you were creating in a lab, you probably would have already accounted for this because it's so obvious we were trying to make it on the black market. It's so hard to account for all of these individual facts, and all of this also is still off of a conjecture because there's not a single shred of evidence anywhere. The best we can do is make conjecture or a story to say that it came from the lab, and there's just no solid evidence to point that. All the evidence points to zoonotic spillover. That's my argument for that. Yeah. You're right.
Okay. You, Deej, will have the last word. Again, there's a poll in the YouTube chat, so if you guys want to vote on who you think did better, please do so. But go ahead, Deej. Tell people, or again, remind people where they can find you if they want to find you, and give your closing thoughts on this, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can.
Deej did a good job.
Find me on
Deej did
Twitter,
a good job.
Deej Z Nuts with a Z as well, if you want to. I'll say again, it is plausible that the virus could have come from a zoonotic spillover event. Again, very rare chance that it could have occurred. There's a lot of factors as well to get to the point that it spreads in Wuhan that Destiny is glazing over. I think that the reason that we have no evidence.
Sorry, I'm very nervous. Very nervous. It's gonna be great, but I'm very nervous.
For any of the things Destiny brought up is because China did a really good job at deleting and destroying that evidence wherever possible.
And I am like 3 monsters down, so little jittery.
The only evidence that we really have is things after the fact, as well as the fact that, well, it looks like it could have come naturally, or, well, it's really hard to make a virus that is, as it was. There is no evidence to suggest that it came from the lab. Yeah, sure, there is weak evidence
Circumstantial.
that it came from the lab because like 95% of the evidence that the scientists are using is destroyed. It's one of the main critics that the scientists that are studying this have with the COVID discovery is how opaque China is being on the matter. And so we just don't really have good data. And given the fact that intelligence agencies, which have more data than anyone else really would have, Germany, the US, Australia, believe it is more likely it came from the lab. And even China believes that the virus, who, by the way, China has the most evidence of anyone, believes that it could have come from the US, which, if that were true, would debunk any narrative about it coming from the bats in China, which is kind of the critical linchpin in it being a zoonotic spillover event. So I think it's more likely it came from the lab. I don't think Destiny has proven that it absolutely could not have come from the lab like he claimed in the beginning, but let the votes be what they'll be.
Okay, well, thank you for being here. Gang, you can find him on the YouTube thing. Just check him out. Good guy. Having fun so far, sir?
So much fun.
I know, it's great. So again, the vote right now is at 71%, 70% Destiny, 30%.
Oh.
No.
Oh wait, what? Oh. Now he's gone.
Reinald and hashtag 039, S notebook. Best for last IG.
Best for last. Bro, I'm like dying. I'm dying. I should have went first.
Dentige. Okay. The next topic. Let's get this guy in
Best
here.
for last.
Hello, sir. Oh, well. Hello.
Oh, come on. Come on now. Stop buffering. Go on. You can do it. You can do it.
Batty, tell people who you are, what you do, where they can find you, and yeah, tell people, and then we'll get this show on the road.
Thank you very much for having me, Week. My name is Claudio. I'm streaming from Portugal. My stripper name is Fatty, and because I'm getting older, I'm trying to get some YouTube coins, so I'm making the transition. So you can find me on the Untouchable Empire, more specifically on the Team Fatty show. Shout out to the Untouchables. And thank you. Nice to meet you, Destiny.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Okay, Destiny, give us your opening thoughts and we'll get into it.
Yeah, sorry, this is just like the other ones, I guess. There's just literally zero evidence whatsoever that Epstein was killed by any other person. The two most common conspiracies are that either somebody else was let in to kill him or he was allowed to kill himself. If we're going to say he was allowed to kill himself, I mean, that's a theory, but there's just zero evidence of that at all. We just have to go by baseless conjecture. The idea that somebody else that came into the jail and killed him and there were literally no signs of a struggle, nobody...
All right, I don't care about this so far. Let's go back to the Discord. Come on here. Let's unmute myself.
Are those your interests?
No, I would debate any topic. I would debate like liberalism. I would debate like his stance on conservatism, like anything.
Never mind, it's boring. We're gonna go back to the stream. Wait, actually, no. Keep it here. We just exit out. There we go.
Somebody else on that cell block reported and you just miss again.
Why put rivals over themselves, or himself over?
Because
yes.
Yeah, because his life was over. He was going to get convicted for what was it? I don't know. It was for like child sexual assault or abuse or whatever. Like, yeah, his life was basically over. He's probably going to die in jail, and he was disgraced, obviously, right?
Yep, but he wasn't, because the FBI said there was no client list. There's no client list. There's no crime.
Well, no, he wasn't being convicted of having a client list. He was being charged and was going to be convicted of it was what was it? Trafficking minors, the sex trafficking of minors.
Minors? What's so bad about? Well, I guess you shouldn't be trafficking any type of person, but like minors, like, are we talking about coal miners? Like, coal miners are like, what's so bad about moving coal miners from one mine to another mine so that they can mine more coal. There's nothing wrong with that.
On that listen, and you say that there's no evidence that he committed
I'm stressing out. I keep sipping my monster. I'm stressing out.
self-deletion. Do you believe that he probably is the most high profile, probably the most important prisoner at that time in the United States of like 350 million people?
Ooh,
Is
yeah.
the most important person
Yes.
to actually open the mouth and talk about something? Do you think he's the guy?
Oh,
Probably
I know where he's going. Yes, this is the road. This is the road. Yes, this is the road to go down. Let's see.
no.
Who is above him?
I don't know. I don't know if he didn't seem like he had any important connections or anything big. Nothing has come out of it. We've seen even the Trump administration fail to produce anything. So it seems like he was just kind of a billionaire, creepy dude who
Nothing big came out of it. What do you mean? Connections with the freaking? Wasn't he working with the Hassad or something? Something to do with them. There's some sort of weird connection with him and Israel somehow. In the intelligence agency, because the U.S. was using him for intelligence stuff like that. But he's not a high profile person. What do you mean? Like, who would be higher? And then Destiny couldn't answer that. Oh yes, that was actually a good response.
would like to fuck kids sometimes.
So you believe that Epstein didn't have high connections with politicians, bankers, entertainment industry, like it doesn't have nothing, it has nothing to do with them?
I think if he did, I think he wouldn't have gotten arrested and been put in jail. He probably would have gotten out using his connections. That's the whole point of having a blackmail list, right?
Absolutely. But the thing is, if he didn't have those connections, Donald Trump and his administration wouldn't try to stop it, right? Because if he doesn't have those connections, why is Trump trying to say this is the Obama hoax? The Republicans are trying to stop the Democrats from releasing it. He doesn't have no connections. So why would he try to stop him? He doesn't know nobody.
Because all
Ryan
of
and
the people that
hashtag
Trump
039 S notebook. They should cut this debate short, FR.
in his cabinet positions were all conspiracy theorists who said there were big connections, and now that they actually got into office, people like Dan Bongino, people like Kash Patel, and they realize there's nothing there, now they have to try to make excuses and scramble to figure out, why they fucked up so bad.
Or they change their position because now it's very convenient, right? Because, for example, Donald Trump said he was releasing the files, and when his buddy, Mr. Elon Musk, said that he was indeed inside of the Epstein files, all of a sudden, all of them flipped. They went from there's files to there's no files to the files exist, but it's Obama. Why would they have to lie and change their story 3 times in a row to make sure, like, if there's no connections, why would they change the story? Why would they do that?
I already said, because there were a bunch of conspiracy theorists that thought there were lists that were there. There weren't lists. When they got into office and they started reading on it more, they realized they had nothing, and then they had nothing to release. If there was information
Okay, so this is the thing that I despise that Destiny does. Like, he'll take their word, he'll take the Trump administration's word for why they're saying it at like to a specific to the exact point when it's convenient for him, and then say that, oh no, he's just lying next time. And I'm like, which one is it? Are you going to trust that they actually did find anything, and that's the reason why they haven't found anything? It's not the fact that they found that he could have been like in the Epstein stuff. Like, is that like not? Wouldn't that be a much more accurate thing to say? Because doesn't Trump have like an ego issue? Like, this would be something he would try and cover up. Like, you complain about how Trump does all these really dumb things all the time. This is probably a dumb thing that Trump would have done, or an excuse
Ryan
for
Yalden
this.
hashtag 039 S notebook. I mean, no one lies 100% of the time. You have to figure out when people are lying and not. Cold grits. What's your topic, MRWHYZ?
Oh wow. This is the first time I ever got an X comment. That's funny. My topic is and yeah, you make a good point, Ryan. But my topic is what is it called? I'm supposed to basically disprove. Destiny thinks that the Trump colluded with Russia, but will most likely never know, which is kind of an unfalsifiable claim. So I just need to like throw a bunch of reasonings on why Trump's campaign didn't collude with Russia.
Then I would ask the same
That's
question
my topic.
Trump asked now. Why wouldn't Biden and them release it?
Because there's Democrats involved too. Like,
Why
they'll
wouldn't they
blame
just
them
delete
for something.
themselves from the list and then they could release it like that? Couldn't they just doctor it?
Because if one domino falls, it's very probable that the rest of them do. You can you can just erase the part that you are involved and not.
Yeah, you can't just erase the part. Just like how Trump can't just erase the part. They have to just say it doesn't
Cold
exist.
grits. Sounds fun, lol.
Yeah, this sounds fun, but right now I'm stressing out. I'm stressing out. Oh, I'm 3 cans of Monster in right now. 3 cans of Monster. I'm about to get annihilated. I just know it. I got all my stuff. Got all my notes. I put a bunch of stuff down. Some things that he could actually say. I got a bunch of stuff to say, but I'm still gonna die though. Still gonna die. I just know it. Get annihilated.
Expect the other people to not try to do the same thing with you. So
If all of it is so like held together that if a single domino falls, then everything will be completely over. Why would anybody even allow Epstein to be arrested in the first place? Why wouldn't he have been killed before he got to jail? Or why wouldn't people have just pulled some strings and like, hey, let's not arrest this dude. He's got like the list. The whole point of having a list is to prevent yourself from getting arrested or getting in trouble, right?
Absolutely, but like you said, is once the evidence pile up, there's no such thing as we're going to stop him from going to jail. There's very prominent people that actually had a bunch of connections and could put people in the extreme amount of danger that are either in jail or they can go back to the United States, because if they put the foot in, they will definitely be arrested. Like they talk about Julian Assange, let's talk about all these whistleblowers. They will definitely, once again, as soon as they are subject to the United States government, they will definitely go to jail. So that doesn't disprove nothing. A matter of fact,
I don't understand. I'm saying that you acknowledge like the whole point of a blackmail list is to make it so you never get in trouble, right?
yes,
So what would be the point of having the blackmail list if he still got in trouble?
because he was not working probably for the United States government. He was working for the Israeli government.
If he was working for the Israeli government, had protection from the Israeli government, then why wouldn't he be doing this in Israel? Why would he be in the United States doing it?
Because there's literally his job is to make sure that he has blackmail on American citizens and American politicians, so Israel can actually get their way with. So he was not working. He was working.
If he had no protection from the American government and only protection,
Going down the conspiracy route isn't really too. I don't really care for this. I'm gonna skip to live.
But wasn't being watched. As soon as
I am definitely going after
the
him.
American system, the prison system, especially for these high-end profile pictures, is so bad that you can have guards asleep, cameras malfunctioning, cellmates being removed, and somebody being deleted on the suicide watch. Do you think all of these catastrophic failures can happen at the same time?
yes, easily. If you read the report on this prison, there were all these failures happening for long periods of time. Tons of our federal prisons have tons of issues. I just heard this stat like 2 weeks ago that 95% of prisons in the state of Florida don't have fucking air conditioners. So yeah, there are people that kill themselves in federal prisons. It does happen. There are guards that fall asleep. There are cameras that malfunction. There are housing units that are substandard for a whole bunch of different reasons. Yeah. Is it a lot of errors?
Yeah, but like there are some. So why did they? If they, this is the point. This is the point that I have whenever he says this. Is like, oh yeah, it's known that these things were all doing that. Okay, it's known that all these prisons have all these issues. Why didn't you send one of the most high profile type of person into just a random cruddy prison? Like, this seems very negligible. Like, this is negligence. Like, he tried to delete himself, and that, well, I'm not 100% sure on this, but he did try to do it and then failed, or it was alleged. He was on suicide watch, I want to say 100%, 99%, because I'm not sure. He was on suicide watch, and then as soon as he came off of suicide watch, that's when he ended up like deleting himself. Like, I think the week later or something like that. But like, why would you? It's just very stupid. Why would you put someone like this that is prone to doing these things into a very bad prison that no one really cares for? Like Destiny said, these issues are known. So like, why would you put him in a prison that all these issues are known to be there for? Like, it doesn't make any sense to do that.
At once, yeah, but I think the question should be more, what the fuck is going on in our federal prisons, rather than relying on 50 different errors to happen to kill this guy in the most mysterious way possible. Why, if you wanted to kill Epstein, why would you break the cameras, tell the guards to lie, make the guards fall asleep, put him on suicide watch?
He's making it into a conspiracy when all you got to do is say, well, Destiny, you said they all knew this was like the case. So like, no one needs to, like, if they know that this prison is bad and people might be no one tried to delete him, but someone obviously made it as easy as possible for him to like delete himself. obviously they put him in a situation where it would be the most easiest for him to like delete himself, or one of the most easiest way, and also still have plausible deniability because like, oh look, see, most prison systems suck. Come on now, like you're giving all these excuses. Like a very smart person could easily do that and have all this plausible deniability that Destiny's pointing out here.
And then take a guy out of his cell and then secretly kill him in prison. Why wouldn't you just say, oh, this guy's allowed out on leave, and then when he leaves prison, kill him somewhere else? Wouldn't that be a billion times easier?
Because, like you said, he was not going nowhere. You literally said it. You said this man is going to.
Why can't you really think?
Oh, so wait, no, I actually do agree with Destiny, but like, I think it was gross negligence or malicious negligence that led to Epstein getting him able to actually pull it off in the first place. Like if they were more like obviously he could have been put to a much more better type of prison that was more secured and like less issues going on with it, but they decided not to. So
can't you release him on house arrest or whatever while he's awaiting his like trial because he was charged?
Because for the charges that he was going to get, he's not going to put the foot outside ever. He has insurmountable evidence against him.
I don't think. But he still hadn't been convicted yet. He could be released on house arrest. He was a billionaire, right?
But that's, I missed the timeline. She deleted themselves when she literally made a bunch of posts saying, "I'm not suicidal. If something happened to me, please go ahead
out
and
of Monster
because I'm not suicidal.
I think I'm ready.
Trying to kill myself.
I think I'm ready."
And once again, Destiny, I think he's interesting that if nothing of this happened, then you agree that Maxwell should be released, right? You think she should be released?
You keep saying nothing happened. Maxwell helped Epstein traffic minors to his island for him to sexually exploit. That's what happened.
For him himself. Hundreds of...
Man, they really have a bunch of coal plants at that island, because, like, why would they need coal miners to be going to that island? Like, can't you just invest in nuclear? I'm sorry.
I don't know if it was hundreds. I don't think it was it... I don't think the charges were for hundreds of minors, right?
Can we verify it?
I don't know the specific number of...
I think you normally charge these independently. If it was hundreds, why did Ghislaine only get 20 years or whatever?
Because they have an incentive for her to just close her motherfucking tribe.
No, you can't have it. You can't have it all ways. Where it's like, well, they charge her to keep her quiet. Well, then why do they charge her at all? Well, because if they don't charge her, she'll figure. Like, well, it can't be all ways. It has to be.
But it doesn't work like that because just because the government locks somebody, it happened with under Biden. The government and the politicians and not the politicians and the police officers.
All right, the thing I need to do for this debate is not hedge at all whatsoever. I need to be firm on my decisions and stuff like that, or he's gonna get me. I just know he's gonna get me. Oh, this is gonna be difficult because I hedge in real life, and Destiny does it too. Oh man, this is gonna suck.
Lock under Biden so many times, and he never went to jail, and he never went to prison. He always escaped, and he never was prosecuted. So you can say that under Biden, Joe Biden's son. I can't pronounce that.
Sure, but Hunter has nothing to do with this. I'm just saying
but I'm using it to prove the point that even though everyone on this conversation know that he has very high connections, that doesn't stop him from going to jail, from being arrested, from actually being at least booked, and then somebody upper end called him and says, "Hey, I know y'all arrested, but take him out from it. Take him from
yeah, but that didn't happen with Biden. Biden literally got convicted of the most insanely crazy crimes ever, of the lying on a gun form and of
Hunter Biden or Joe Biden?
Hunter Biden.
So Hunter Biden was convicted for doing crack, for
Hunter Biden was convicted for lying on a 4473 when buying a firearm, and was convicted for paying back his taxes late in 2019 or whatever.
Does he has strong backers?
Well, I mean, his dad was the president of the United States, who ultimately pardoned him. Yeah, but there was no other way to get him out besides the pardon power of the president. He couldn't flex his connections.
And how did he get away? Wasn't it with the pardon on the last days of his presidency?
Yeah, yes. But that's a pardon, right? It's not like he used secret connections. Like that was his dad as the president pardoned him to prevent him from going to jail.
And this is what we're talking about. A lot of times the American system actually arrests people, and then people that are in positions of power do machinations to make sure that these people either get away, disappear, or get convicted and stay their whole life in jail.
Wait, so why didn't Trump just pardon Epstein then, if that's what the expectation was?
Because he will lose his political base and he will be the most infamous president of all time, because Epstein is hated on all the planet. Like
you keep talking. I don't know how to counter this. You keep talking about Epstein like he's just a victim of the system and can't do anything to get himself out of the system. Wait, so don't mean like he didn't rape anybody, right? I'm saying that you're talking about him like a normal person, but all on the back of this, you're talking about the most powerful blackmail list in the world. What is the point of the most powerful blackmail list in the world if you can't even keep yourself from getting arrested by the feds? Like, if there was ever a reason to have a blackmail list to fuck kids, it would be to get away with fucking kids. It doesn't make any sense that he would get caught on this and arrested. You would blackmail, like, why is it that when he died, why didn't half the names on the list get leaked? Wouldn't that be the whole point? When you have a dead man switch on a blacklist, isn't the whole point of having extortion blackmail material like this?
No, because fucking kids is just a tool for the fucking kids is just a tool for the ends that they want to meet. It's like 2 planes.
What was that a tool for?
You know, every time they say that, I feel like I'm gonna get banned off of like one of my platforms. Every time they keep saying that, they're like, can you not like stop saying it that way?
Or what did the fucking kids just...
So
Wait,
you
wait,
put
why?
people in compromising
Why?
positions, and fucking kids is the most egregious thing that you can do in the history of mankind. And now these people are in debt for you for life, so they can go ahead and do your bidding. Like,
But the bidding can't get you out of jail?
Absolutely not. It was insurmountable evidence. Like, you can do nothing.
Yeah, that's the whole point. You get rid. You just said that they suicided one girl who was on a bus and said I wasn't suicidal, and you believe that she was murdered. Why didn't they just do that to the other victims?
No. Do you? Hey, Destiny. I'll say this, right? And you are right. You are right. We're just speculating at this point. But my question, this question has kind of nothing to do with it. But do you trust the DOJ and the FBI?
Right now, I don't. But the story altogether,
Good answer, I guess.
evidence or whatever shows that he killed himself, and that it's like there's literally no evidence to the contrary. But if I was to believe another story, there are so many better ways that it would have happened. I would never risk. First of all, the microsecond this dude gets caught, he's getting whacked. Fucking Obama's drone striking motherfuckers in Yemen that are American citizens, and you're telling me that Epstein got all the way to the jail to not only to try to kill himself one time and fail and still be surrounded by all those people, the most powerful blackmail list alive. If he knows he's going to be killed, he could have leaked everything. You would have just killed him on arrest, like they did with who was that one guy, Reinhold or whatever, who shot at the police officer, and the FBI went to arrest him and they shot him and killed him. Why they would just kill him on arrest if that was if that was what they were worried about? Why would they put him all the way into prison and go through all that process? That's like the worst assassination ever.
Because, like I said, there's two congruent. There's the judicial system working and all the system working, and there's the people in power that are doing that are going against the system to try to protect themselves.
What is the point of being in charge of all those systems and having all the power if the systems just work independent of you anyway? Like, it seems like at that point the blackmail is worthless.
Because you are in power doesn't mean that you control all the variants and all the angles of that power. Something can slip through your hands even as the president of the United States. Donald Trump.
Oh, we're back to
He's
real
the most
time.
powerful man in the world. He got 36 felons, and he was convicted by a bunch of
Convicted
things.
on state charges, though, right? But I'm not the one who believes in these types of conspiratorial things. You are, right?
No. You actually believe in them. This is the last question I have for you, right? Or not a question. This is a statement. This is a statement, right? If the American government and some figureheads on the back room decided to delete.
All right, let's see. What are they talking about in backstage? Backstage. What are you guys talking about? Pop out.
Like, if the CIA is going to put out a report on something, they're not going to put all of the investigative resources that they have that are like finding out secret sources at risk by disclosing those within said report.
Well, of course, the CIA is not going to be like revealing their classified, double agents within like the CCP or anything.
Well,
like that.
not just the agents, but like the key information that leads them to the conclusions, because that can give away their sources.
Yes, but
we're still talking about the stuff. Well, let's go back.
3,000 Americans.
Sorry, they're talking about the previous debate that the other person had. So I thought they would be. I don't know. I'm just going back and forth. I need to. I'm trying to distract myself, but I know I got 10 minutes until I have to go on. It's gonna suck, but
by sending 2 planes against 2 towers, and for whatever reason, I think is the oidioid fractures that usually are not present on suicide, especially on hangings that are in low range. And like, I think he was, because I got it on my list, the former New York chief medical examiner Michael Baden, 50 years in the field, said it looks like a homicide. Most people that actually look at the injuries that he had and the bones that were broken on his neck say that even sometimes they are present in suicides. This is usually a sign of homicides.
I agree with that. The official coroner, the official examiner, said that it looked like a suicide. That Michael Baden guy, who's like a celebrity who makes a living off of giving sensational news, says usually this bone isn't present in suicides, but it is more likely to be present, broken in suicides in older people and in people that weigh more. Epstein was, what was he, 60 something or in his late 50s, and the guy weighed, I think, 180 pounds. He was like a 6 foot or whatever guy, like hanging. The idea that this, I don't know if this is, if the hyoid, I don't know if that was a bone or like cartilage would be broken, even though it might not be as common in suicides, which I've never even seen that evidence presented, because everything I've seen shows that it absolutely can be broken in suicides. There's no other markings on his body that imply that he was killed by another person. There's no defensive wounds. There's no bruising anywhere. There's no signs of a struggle. Nobody else in the cell block reported hearing anything. There's no evidence of anybody going in and out of the prison. There's not even a theory for who would have done it. There's nothing else at all that points to it being a murder.
This is the famous meme. The CIA and the FBI investigated themselves, and they found there was no wrongdoing.
No, you can't use that. You can't say that the government is so powerful that they could kill all the investigations, but that same government couldn't have just said, don't arrest Epstein or kill him when you go to arrest him. You see how sometimes they're all powerful for you, and then other times they're helpless and they can't stop the people doing their jobs.
They are not all powerful. They are very powerful. Some things actually go through their fingers and escape. And the reality
like
is,
the arrest of the most important blackmail person in the world. You just said he was the highest profile person ever.
Absolutely. And like I said, Destiny, can you explain to me why is Donald Trump fighting so much against the list it released if he was not in the island?
Yeah, because I don't think there's anything there, but I think that he's got like flight logs that have a ton of names on it. I think Trump shows up on a lot. He knows it's going to look bad, so he just doesn't want it released.
So it's just about looking bad. It's not him actually being involved with these minors. You don't believe that Trump is
I think that if Trump was fucking minors,
every time they say, wait, whoa, minors, bro, I'm not going to make the same joke again.
We would have heard about this a long time ago. We got audio leaked from him on a bus saying grab him by the pussy and all sorts of things. I think we would have gotten this a long time ago if there was any solid evidence of this. Why wouldn't Biden or anybody else have released any part of this list?
Your argument doesn't make sense because Epstein was doing this.
No, Epstein's argument makes perfect sense. Like, yes, Donald Trump has been underneath so much scrutiny. If there was something that, if they could get a random clip from him in 2006 with a very inappropriate speech, then they would have found that a long time ago, bro. Donald Trump has been investigated has been the most investigated president ever. I want to say ever, actually. The amount of scrutiny that this guy got, like, holy crap. They would have found it a long time ago. Destiny's correct on this.
20 or 30 years, and there was nobody talking about it. We only got this B did the same thing.
Wait, nobody talking about it. He got arrested the first time in like 2002 or whatever. What do you mean?
No. But what we're talking about is people are going to do wrongdoings until they get caught. That's the reality of it. They are going to any variables in the so short amount of time.
Oh no!
That we clearly know that there's some wrongdoing going on.
I'm gonna die.
Once again, I appreciate you the opportunity. Thank you very much, sir. I won't forget that. And Destiny, I see you in a few years when we are very famous and popular on YouTube. Okay,
all right, well,
I appreciate you. Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you. For
I'm gonna get annihilated.
Go check them out, gang. Once again, polls up. You can vote. Who do you think did better?
Oh God. All right.
The public, like what's publicly known of what viruses they were researching.
What the hell is this?
Mr. Wise Guys for this one. Welcome, sir.
Oh wait, hold up. Let me fix my Discord.
Take your time. The topic is this. Trump's campaign likely did collude with Russia, but we'll never know. Once he gets his camera working, we'll let him introduce himself.
Is it up?
I can see you.
There we go.
Okay,
Perfect.
Mr. Wise Guy. Tell people who you are. Introduce yourself.
All right.
Where
So
can they find you?
I'm Mr. Wise Guy, and I'm going to be very awkward because I do not do good with talking to public spaces. But yeah. Anyways, you can find me on YouTube, Rumble, X, all Mr. Wise Guy.
Okay. To the topic, Destiny. Do you want to start us off? Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that there are several things you could point to, but I'll just focus on Roger Stone. I think Roger Stone obviously was a campaign surrogate, was in communication with the Trump camp. I think that it's well known at this point that Roger Stone was communicating with the Russian hacker that hacked the DNC and was trying to coordinate the media leaks from the DNC hacks with the Guccifer 2.0 hacker who was working for the Russian KGB. And then the Yeah, that's yeah. Oh, I mean, Roger Stone was. They tried to charge him and investigate this, and he didn't cooperate at all. He obstructed over and over again. He told another witness not to cooperate, and then eventually, when he was convicted of obstruction for not cooperating with investigators, Trump pardoned him. I think Stone even said publicly that he wouldn't squelch on Trump. I think it's pretty hard to fight on all of that. Yeah.
Was he the guy that got arrested and went to jail and then he got pardoned, or?
That's like half the Trump initial campaign people. Yeah, Flynn, Manafort, Stone. Yeah.
Well, I can't really. I mean, I should have looked into Robert Stone more often, but you basically said your prompt was you. What's that looked?
What?
Go ahead.
Oh.
Go ahead. Just go with Mr. Wise Guy.
You basically you said that it's likely that he colluded with Russia, but I'm gonna say the Mueller. I'm gonna start with the Mueller report. You said they didn't conclude with that there was any collusion with the Trump campaign, but you say that it's likely that we'll never know. So I'm what do you mean when you say it's likely we'll never know? Even though they did concluded that this wasn't a.
Because I think that, Mueller mentions in his report, and Donald Trump tried everything he could to obstruct the investigation. He fired Comey because Comey wouldn't call off the investigation after they arrested Flynn. Other people were obstructing and telling witnesses to lie, like Roger Stone, to protect Trump, and he did protect Trump. He was pardoned by Trump. Trump was looking for ways to shut down Mueller, but wasn't able to do so. Trump publicly fought with Jeff Sessions, who was the acting attorney general, because he told Sessions to stop it, and Sessions recused himself. He wouldn't cooperate with him. So there's evidence of Trump obstructing at multiple points, knowing what he was doing, obstructing at multiple points on this investigation, and he continued to do stuff behind the scenes as well. So yeah.
But isn't that him obstructing?
Can you turn up your mic, Mr. Wise Guy? Can you take your
mic
and turn it up? People are having a hard time hearing you. But yeah, go ahead.
All right, how's this?
We're probably as good as we're gonna get. Keep going.
Okay. Could you repeat what you just said? I mean, but no, you said
he
basically
tried to obstruct in a lot of different ways. Yeah.
Yeah, but obstructing in different ways doesn't necessarily mean that his campaign was colluding with Russia. But during the entire we had this whole witch hunt in the entire I'll call it a witch hunt for this entire 2016 or 2017 all the way to 2018 or 2019, and they were scrutinizing his presidency for the first 2 years, and you have all these articles bombarding him with all these allegations with the Russia stuff, and everyone kept on hearing about it, and then they finally concluded that there was no collusion for here. So as that's going on, wouldn't that make sense? Trump knows that he wasn't doing this, so Trump being Trump is going to try and obstruct, because he knows that he's this is not legit, so he's going to fight for it. So that doesn't necessarily mean that he was colluding with Russia. That's him kind of defending himself.
Yeah, so I agree that that's not enough. You could argue, now that doesn't necessarily follow. Biden allowed his son and himself to be investigated a ton and didn't obstruct, but you could argue there's a different moral character there. You could argue that Trump was just trying to stop it because he thought it was bullshit, and I think that's a fair argument. The only thing that complicates that is the fact that there were members of his campaign that were directly convicted relating to lying about Russia stuff. So I think Flynn lied to the FBI about communications with Russians. Manafort lied because he was working overseas with, it wasn't Yanukovych. I want to say it's Proshetto, but it's not his fucking name. It's Proshetto in fucking Ukrainian, Politensky or whatever. There was some other name. Fuck, somebody shall say it. But he was working with this guy and wasn't declaring anything to the U.S. State Department, and those connections, he got in trouble for that, $14 million in assets. And then the Stone stuff was bad. But I would say that's not maybe on its own. The Stone was directly communicating. Flint lied about shit. But the fact that these guys didn't really cooperate with investors and got pardoned by Trump, I think that's points really strong. But that's why I do say we'll never know 100%. I wouldn't say it was 100% that he did, but I think it points heavily in that direction. And in some cases, he absolutely did with Stone. But to the full extent, we'll never know because he obstructed the fuck out of the investigation.
I wish I did more stuff on the Robert Stone guy, because I did I did do some research before starting this because, like, I knew when you gave, because, like, that end part when you did for your, like, we'll probably never know really stumped me. And I didn't really know how to kind of, like, deal with this. But the fact that, I mean, so you're basically just saying it's, like, kind of like a conspiracy because, like, it is proven that there really isn't. Like, there wasn't any collusion. They did scrutinize and, like, looked into it a bunch. So, like, it's not like they it's not like they would have, like, if they would have found something, they would have found something because, like, Trump has been, like, there's been indictments on, like, so many different things in the past. And even, like, after 2020, like, what was it? Like, the January 6th committee, like, they looked into a bunch of his stuff.
I'm not gonna. I mean, I agree. Like, I am alleging a conspiracy. But so I think in order to allege a conspiracy, I think you need extraordinary evidence to allege a conspiracy. I would say that it is extraordinary that Donald Trump was pardoning people that were directly working with him and obstructing of justice related to investigations concerning Donald Trump. That's extraordinary. I would say Donald Trump firing James Comey. That's extraordinary. And there was literally the whole point of the special prosecutor being appointed was because he fired James Comey. That was extraordinary. And he lied about why he fired him. He said he fired James Comey because he thought he mishandled the Hillary Clinton email investigation. We all know that's a lie, right?
I mean, but
we know that's a lie because he would have fired him on day one if that was the case, right? But he only fired him after he had the conversation about Comey dropping the investigation, and Comey said he wasn't going to, and it was inappropriate to ask, and then Trump fired him after that. So, like, we know that's why he fired him.
Probably, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not 100% sure on the conspiracy either, but I think in order for a conspiracy to happen, you need to have ways to explain extraordinary things. And I think the president of the United States working behind the scenes to pardon people and to work with people and to pressure people, I think all of those pieces of evidence are all known. Usually we would have to work really hard to uncover these, but Trump does it out in the open. Like with the Ukraine thing, like making the phone call. We have the 47-minute conversation with Giuliani asking Zelensky, say, can you please publicly announce an investigation into Hunter Biden? I know you have no evidence, but please just announce this. We can just listen to the whole phone call. That's an extraordinary piece of evidence that normally you would get declassified 60 years later, you know?
Yeah, I guess. But I really don't I honestly don't have anything more to say on that, to be honest.
Well, what do you have to say? What did you come in here to argue?
Well, I came here to argue I kind of came here to argue that it's kind of just a conspiracy. It's not necessarily like I would do what you would do and kind of like go on like, why don't you just go with like what the Mueller report came in and like knowing that
the Mueller report did say all of this. The Mueller report said that there was obstruction. The Mueller report he didn't recommend it, but he said that there was enough there to recommend obstruction. Obstruction is obstruction into the investigation. Mueller himself said that.
Yes, there's obstruction, but not collusion. Like that
because the obstruction was to obscure the collusion. That was the whole point of the obstruction,
but
right?
Wouldn't be able to find. They should have been able to find that. Like they should have.
If they're not being cooperated with in any of the investigators, and if you don't cooperate with investigators, they'll get you because they'll flip you because they can press you with charges of stuff. A federal prosecutor can't pressure somebody when the president of the United States can pardon you.
Well, they can though.
How? The president can just pardon you.
Yeah, but they can still pressure and get the information out, and then when they get pardoned, like you can.
With what pressure?
Yeah, but once you get pardoned, you can't plead the fifth anymore. So you have to you're able to still get investigated and get information out that way.
That's a theory that some people have floated, but nobody really knows how that would work in practice.
But that's how it would work, though.
Well, nobody knows that. I've heard that before. I think it's cute. I think it's actually a really interesting legal theory that, like, if you really want to get somebody to fuck over somebody above them, just pardon them first so they're not allowed to plead the fifth. I think that's a really interesting idea, but that's a novel legal theory. I don't believe that's ever been tested before.
Okay. All right.
Also, keep in mind, well, actually, that argument is recursively self-defeating. Let's say that they do pardon them, and now you're saying they're not allowed to plead the fifth. Well, what happens if they don't plead the fifth? Then they get held in federal contempt, and pardon can still happen from the president over and over again, right? So even that doesn't help.
I mean, that's a little bit of a. I don't know if it would work, but like if they get pardoned with one thing, does that mean, is there like a limitation for how many times you can pardon one person?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well.
And again, I agree this is exceptional, but like Donald Trump pardoned people that were convicted of seditious conspiracy to obstruct the election process, and put him back in power. It's all the J6ers, all the Oath Keepers, all of the Patriot Boys, the people who broke into the Capitol initially. Like Trump pardoned all of these people who were loyalists to him that obstructed federal law to keep him in power. So it's not, yeah. So I am alleging a conspiracy, but I think there's a lot of good reasons to think that this conspiracy happened. Yeah.
I mean, okay, I can see your reasonings, but like I feel like Trump using the what you've given us so far for like Trump specifically, I feel like Trump is just such a unique type of like president or person to kind of like you can use them, and for any other like normal person, it would look like it would look really, really bad, and you could probably I would probably agree with you, but I feel like with Trump you would have to. I feel like you're just not. I feel like you're not as you should. Well, you won't be. I feel like you should be more charitable. But I know why you won't be more charitable, because you like you.
Well, wait, excuse me. I am being quite charitable. You can't point to a single president in all of U.S. history. Even Nixon wasn't as blatant with the corruption as Trump. If you can give me a single example here where you think I'm being hypocritical, you can't give me a single example of that.
I'm not saying that you're hypocritical. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that
you're implying that I would give more charity to somebody besides Trump. I think Trump's gotten tons of charity. And we've even seen in the other investigations that he's obstructed. That was part of the Mar-a-Lago hidden documents thing, the secret documents. He told his lawyer, Noida, or however you pronounce his name, hey, can you please go hide those boxes? Hey, investigators are showing up. Hey, my lawyer's showing up. Can you move those boxes? Like, he obstructed that investigation as well.
Yeah, but didn't they still get like the information from those boxes and stuff like that?
No, there's like 12 boxes that Trump flew back up to New York that we have no idea what those are. Those are just gone forever. Maybe the Epstein client list is in those or in those boxes. Who knows?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not too sure about that. But like, I feel like if they really wanted to get that information, really, I feel like if they really wanted to get that information, then they found it's just so weird that they can find all of these old like the whole grab him by the pussy thing for like a long time ago, and they can get all this information, they can dig into all this stuff, but they can't find the big main criticism of like Russian collusion, like legitimately. But like now we have all these.
The grab him by the pussy stuff is just like that's entertainment stuff that Donald Trump is involved in. He's not the president. He has the power to obstruct or do anything back then, right?
But they did dug into it and found that random thing from 2006. They also found like a video of him like with Epstein at a party in like the 1990s. Like if you like, they can find all of this stuff on him, but yet they can't find.
There's no reason for him to be colluding with Russia relating to election stuff prior to 2016 because he's not running for election, right?
Okay, so then he isn't like then. I would say it's likely that he didn't like his campaign didn't collude with Russia. Well, I mean, so you agree with me?
Disagree, but no, I don't. I think it's more likely that he colluded, especially if you look at the Roger. We haven't even touched the Trump Tower meeting with all the people, right? But
the Tower thing was there was no actual information exchange and stuff like that. It was just like a nothing burger. In the Mueller report, they explicitly found that this did not amount to coordination with Russia election interference. Okay, so they specifically say a Russian election interference, but yeah, that's what they found.
Okay, I would have to go back and dig that in because because I feel like the Stone Manafort stuff on its own is already pretty damning. But yeah, I mean, and then the fact that we've seen like overt, like open and proud obstruction over and over again with Trump into his own investigations, and we've seen him pardon people. Like if you were to make a conspiracy, like you have every single piece that you need publicly available and proven at this point. That doesn't mean a conspiracy necessarily happens, but we could explain one if it did happen. We wouldn't need like some exceptional thing like a secret person carrying a virus from a lab to a wet market or a secret assassin that came in where everybody else told him to be quiet. Like we have all the pieces for the Trump thing to totally make sense, right? He's in charge of the government. He believes he can order every part of the government around. He tells people to lie for him. Stone says he will. Stone gets pardoned for it. So, like everything is there.
Yeah, but like didn't one like in his first presidency, didn't someone like lie in his like about the actual troop numbers inside the for when he was trying to pull out, and then like he admitted it after the election in 2020 when he lost it, like, and then they ended up firing him.
Was this Mattis? I think said
this was someone.
Donald Trump basically said, yeah.
I'm only bringing this up because you said that he's like the most powerful person, he can control it, but like there was a lot of things that he couldn't do in his first presidency. Like he kind of didn't really get much done, as you said in prior arguments.
I think he could have done that. But I don't think he gave much a fuck about it. I think it's just being spite driven. He was literally like, I'm leaving office, fucking pull our shit out of Afghanistan, fuck Biden and fuck this country. And the general at the time was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. That's retarded. But they just didn't, but I don't think Trump cared much about this. It was like a thing that he said and just like fucked off basically.
Yeah, but didn't he like fire the guy afterwards? Like, didn't he do something with that specific person when he came in office this time?
Maybe. I think, was this Mattis? Is that who I'm thinking of, guys? Yeah, I think he did. But what about it?
Well, I mean, well, you said it was spite driven, so he remembered that he lied about the numbers to Trump, and then Trump got really pissed off, but wasn't able to really do much.
That dude.
Yeah. But I thought Trump like maybe stripped him of his like power or something like that.
Security clearance or something as well, maybe. Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
So like, but you said that he's like one of the most powerful. I don't think he utilized his I didn't think he was even. You said his campaign specifically, so that's a little different. But I think Trump is just way too unique to really say that he's that his thing colluded with Russia. No, I don't think so.
Okay. Thank you for being here, Mr.
Wait,
Wise. You got any final
one more
words
thing
for
though.
us? Some final arguments? Yeah, go ahead.
Do you remember meeting me at that one the event?
Yeah, was it the one in I don't remember the city.
They switched it to a different location.
Was it in Ohio? Yeah, in New York, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said that you didn't trust me. Why?
Did I say that? It sounds like a mean thing I just said.
Oh, okay. All right. Never mind. It was you just, okay. It was some random nonsense. Okay. But
wait. What was the context? Did you ask me a question or what was
No, I didn't ask you a question. I kind of just came up and I was like, hey, I wanted to get like your Discord, and you were like, no, you don't trust me because like,
well, I don't usually hand my socials out to random people because I get.
You're dealing with a lot of BS right now. Personally, I feel like I'm not gonna lie,
sure.
But your stances on, I feel like you need to be. Let me see. What was I gonna say? Freaking. I'm sorry, Wick. I had it in my mind and I lost it.
Where can people find you, sir?
You can find me on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, all the streaming platforms, even X as well, X, or Twitter, because Wick likes to call it Twitter. But it's nice talking to you, Destiny, and hopefully I can chat with you more, because I feel one big claim that I have against you is that I feel like you take politics way too. I feel like you take the general election politics of presidents way too seriously. I think you should, because like I understand some of your arguments, but I feel like you it just mind breaks you on like certain things that you say that you really don't need to say, because I feel like it's not necessary. It's not necessary. It's like.
You guys can connect later.
All right.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Wise Guys.
All right. Thanks for letting me chat.
And then the CIA puts out a report saying Deej is likely gay because of the intel that we have, but there is no evidence to support it because all that evidence has been.
All right. Let's delete that. Boom. All right. Let's see.
And you could tell me in chat why.
All right. We're going to skip when I'm talking to him. And we're just going to go to when I get deleted. Is it here? No, I am not listening to myself for the love of me. There we go.
Let's go into overtime, gang. Okay? Let's bring in the first guy. I don't know what order you guys came in, so I'm just going to pick the people I think will do well.
Ryan and hashtag
Hello, you're live.
039 S Notebook. Shredded Man.
Yeah, I got annihilated. I got destroyed. The pardon things are, yes, I can understand that. I can see that that's kind of like, maybe, but I feel like the fact of the matter that we have one giant big report saying that there was no collusion, then we have the, what was it? I mean, it was mostly that, and then what was it? This, not the Steele dossier. The what? What was it called? Shoot, what was it called? Oh, the Dorm Report. Yeah, the Dorm Report. Yes. Yes. The Dorm Report. Huh. The Dorm Report found FBI flawed information. Like, it was the FBI probe was flawed when they looked into this stuff. And it was a part of the Dorm Report, which Destiny did not look into at all. Paul Manafort.
Oh, he can't hear us. Hold on, let me DM him.
Thing.
Come on now. Come on. Stop buffering. Stop buffering. Just go.
And then it later came out that actually we were getting opposition research from her in a Trump Tower from a Russian attorney. Super not okay. No, not good. And yeah, Trump just tried really hard at every stage to obstruct every part. Firing Comey was the incitement moment for appointing Mueller.
Brody, let's post game.
Let's post the game.
Telling Sessions to recuse himself.
Maybe.
I'm sorry, telling Sessions to kill the investigation, and then him recusing himself.
Actually.
Other people lying about communicating with Russia, like Flynn and getting pardoned. Like, it's just so much. Trump pardoning everybody that's helping him keep everything covered up. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So none of that I have a problem with. The incongruency comes from the debate you had right before that, where it seems like a president who is obstructing a justice in the most guilty, obvious ways, and also pardoning or if not commuting Ghislaine Maxwell's sentence is not evidence to, yeah, we might never know because the evidence hasn't come out to prove it solidly, but somehow that is like some wild, insane conspiracy, and this somehow meets the burden of, yeah, there's probably something there. I believe both of these things are probably true.
What? So for the like the Stone Guccifer Trump connection, that's just publicly known. There's that happened.
Right. So the Trump Epstein connection is known. Obviously, Trump diddling kids is not known.
Yeah,
there are accusers, and that's where it ends. He's
Ooh,
partying with him. There's
yes.
evidence of
He's
him
fighting
bro,
for
let me
me.
hop in.
Wait, bro. Let's post game. Let me hop in. What do you mean? Let you hop in?
trying to cover up his name by saying, "Hey, FBI, redact my name out of these files." Now, whether or not there's literally,
I'm in disc.
I'm in Wix backstage thing right now, so I'm not really in a channel. I'm out. We're done. We're done
list
talking to
of
Destiny.
like people's names. I think that actually is probably not true because that's stupid. I think he probably killed himself, whether or not that's they coerced him to or he did it himself because he knew he was fucked. Probably also true, but I don't think this somehow belies the fact that Donald Trump is acting like the most guilty person ever. In the same way that a lot of this Russia stuff is, it seems like there's at least some sort of connection there. If not, why not release the files? Why not, not redact his name out of it?
For the FBI, so here's my question: is there something? So my story. So this is my story, okay? My story is that.
Yeah, I know, bro. I want to talk LMAO.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Just. Oh, you're in my Discord. Oh, you're Grok? Okay. All right. Stream chat. All right. We'll do that. Why not? Boom. There we go. Oh, wait. Wait, am I still muted? There we go. Hello.
The guy. I'm suppressed BRP. The guy. Bro.
Oh, how do I... I'm confused. How? Why don't... Oh, because you're just some... Alright, can you talk now? No? Alright, well...
The guy. No.
There you go. You get admin rule. You get admin. There's no way you can't not talk with admin role. And I don't understand how I can unmute you. Did I do the Discord wrong? I think I did the Discord wrong, didn't I? I probably did the Discord wrong. I can't speak. I don't know why you can't speak. All right, join the debate one. Join the debate one. There's no reason for you to not be able to talk. Oh, there we go.
There we go. Hello.
All right, Grok.
Bro.
I was literally just using you.
Bro. What just happened, bro?
I died. I crashed and burned. That's what happened.
You did die, bro. What were you playing?
I don't know. I just wanted to talk to him, to be honest.
Bro, you clout dicked it. That's what you did, bro. You did not prep your shit. And you got your ass handed to you.
I was not expecting him to just hammer in on the specific, like, pardons. I would have looked into that one more if I knew that's what he was going to, but like...
Ryan Yalden hashtag 039 S notebook. Cloud suicide.
Cloud suicide. But I had like the I had the Mueller report stuff, the conclusion for that, like the no charges for that. I felt like the Mueller report would have been the biggest thing. Like it literally said no collusion, and you could easily see, like, if there was going to be any collusion, you would see
specific wording.
Say that again.
You have the wording?
No, I don't have the wording.
Like, what's the... So, like, at the end of it, what does the conclusion say? Like,
it says that they found like obstruction, I think, but there was no collusion within the Trump campaign.
Brody, that's what you would have to be solid on. And if you think they found obstruction, then they did obstruction, and obstruction is really fucking bad because it, like, there's a reason why that's a serious sentence and why pardoning it is a crazy thing, is because, like, if you were obstructing and you're, like, you know, kicking out the ladder out from under you, who knows what you could have been doing? Like, that, there's a whole Pandora's box of, like, criminality there that sets a really, really scary precedent that if they manage to get away with that, because everybody who did it got pardoned, like, we are seriously talking some, like, next level political scandal shit.
Yeah, but Destiny did, like, I said that you could like, but if you get pardoned, you can just easily go into an investigation, and then they don't need to plead the fifth if they don't want to. Like, they won't get, like, they can't get prosecuted for it and thrown into jail, but they can definitely get investigated and they can talk about it. Like, that would be easy, but Destiny kind of just dismissed it as like a cute little legal theory, and I'm like, but that's something you could easily do, though. Like, there's no reason not to do that. It doesn't matter if it was never been tried.
And plus, what if it's what if it's beneficial to them? Like, why would they want to go forward with that information if they are getting pardoned and, you know, coasting by now with what they do?
If people,
what benefit do they get from?
If people if people really want to know that if the Trump campaign like actually colluded with Russia, you could still get that information and then throw it out there, like, easily.
Not if they destroy it. Not if they obstruct you from getting it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the pleading the fifth thing, where the guy, there's no reason for him to like he can't get prosecuted anymore for any of that information.
Yeah,
but you can easily get that information now and throw it out there, and he can get publicly condemned. Like, that also is a thing that you could do. Pardoning doesn't, like, stop public condemnation.
Yeah, but what if you get to lose none of your status? What if you get to have all of the political power that you've had? And what if you get, like, I just don't understand, like, this idea that, like,
I feel like you guys hold the obstruction thing much higher than it needs to be. Like, there's easy ways to get information out.
Every single one of these things is so unfathomably illegal. The fact that there's a woman for that Files case that he got his ass handed to him, it was probably the most embarrassing thing legally coming out of this country. I think it's honestly some of the funniest, like, media produced in the 21st century, because you go through and you read the quotes from this guy. He's an idiot. He's a bumbling idiot. He talks like a child. When he's Trump, doing things, he gives away the illegality of what he's doing. Like, his defense, which is that I can declassify them with my mind, was immediately overshadowed by the very glaring fact that he's announcing in some of these transcripts, I know I shouldn't be showing you this. I could have declassified them, but I didn't. These are the things they didn't show me, and they said they weren't real, but I have them. So he's saying, one, I have something I shouldn't have. Two, I'm showing you something I shouldn't be showing you. And three, I'm stupid enough to say all of this out loud, to form it into words, and to put it out there. So I think it's such a beautiful like comedy of errors that we have a leader who is doing this stuff. Like, and the reason that case went away from him is because the nutter lawyer who was assigned to that case in like this random fucking district was willing to tank her career for it. She got disbarred for dropping that case because she and the way that she did it was this psychotic legal loophole where she said that the special prosecutors that were appointed to him were like unconstitutional. Nobody has ever contested the special prosecutor. That never fucking happens. So she abused a legal loophole that she got disbarred for trying to abuse. So it was basically just like a political suicide bomb. And it was just to save Trump some breathing room in the media cycle. And he didn't even need it anyway because he just fucking won. It's wild. It's wild. This is all like
wait, are we talking about 2016?
No, this was recent. This was
okay.
2024. Like, bro, this is wild stuff. There's so many scandals that come out. Like, you remember Stormy Daniels? Bro, like, that was campaign money. He was using campaign money for his, that is a destiny problem, by the way. That's a problem that you only have because you're a gooner. And that happened to Trump. That's the funniest thing to think about. Is that he had, like, a destiny moment, which is, like, your coomerness getting ahead of you. And he's the president. He's literally the leader of the free world.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree that that Trump is very, very unique and he has a lot of weird things on him.
Unique and weird is what I want in like a cute girl with glasses who goes to the same Barnes and Noble as me. But again, I don't want cute, weird, and quirky has the nuclear codes. I don't want this guy around sensitive. I don't want this guy around like fine china. Okay, I think he'll knock it over because he's demented and old. Like this guy is. I think he has to wear adult diapers. I've heard rumors from people in the White House that he is wearing adult diapers, and he kind of is starting to look like it. He's old. He's having sort of like necrosis breakouts on his hands. He's like a skeleton who's dying. It's crazy to watch. And he's fat. He's very remarkably fat, which I think is funny because it's sort of just like a punchline that your president, the guy who represents you, has a disgusting out of proportion body, and he lies about how tall and about how attractive he is all the time, and he's like 80 something years old. Like I think that's pretty revealing of us as a country. I think it's sort of like
it's
funny.
Yeah, I think it's just funny. I feel like it's just funny.
I know.
I feel like a lot of.
Is there no way we can't expect better? Some politicians will always just be slightly scuzzy, but like I want a less open and a brazen scuzzy. Like weird and unique, I get. I want someone who's weird and unique too, but my weird and unique was like Bernie. Like that's my weird and unique. I don't need weird and unique that comes in and like
we did
threatens to invade Greenland, bro.
That was a interesting time. I don't think has he talked about that? I don't think he's talked about that like at all anymore.
He literally just like drops things immediately. Like it's like a ball that he plays with. It's like toys. And then when he's bored with the toy, he's like, "All right, I'm gone."
I get it. So like, okay, so I understand. Like we have all these weird and unique things that are really bad in a president, but like the country isn't really like what's the. Like, are we worse now since like the years with Biden? Like, what has substantially changed that actually affected?
It's starting to have ripples, and you won't notice it until later down the line because these are the things that manifest. Like, it's the things you get punished for, like. You know how like when climate change, it's like, oh, if we go up 1 more degree, and it's like, what's 1 degree going to change? Like, fuck if I know the difference between 86 and 87 outside. Like, and then, but when you think like that, you don't realize how fucked you are until your kids are coming home the next day and are saying like,
Yeah, the teacher had us do a class debate about whether or not the 2020 election was stolen. So, and we learned a
Yeah, but
lot, and
okay.
And you don't realize how far gone your culture and everything is. And it's the ripple. It's like there was this huge shutdown when they were doing the cuts with Doge. They shut down like the weather service section. So a huge chunk of like fishermen off the sort of East Coast like had really bad seasons. Like there was really bad fish prices and like just general stuff because this huge government agency that reports all the weather patterns for the boats to like, learn to avoid for peak fishing hours and stuff. Like they just didn't have any data or information for them. So there was just like this huge market shift for a while that like I think shut down. Like I think a couple companies went out of business because of it. So it's like it's just little things like that, just bumps, and you're just like, is something going on? Like there was a bunch of people who got laid off in the shipping industry, and these are like blue collar jobs too. Like it was the shipping industry. There was this huge like layoff session after the tariffs were announced, and these huge sectors of industry just stopped coming, like because they get paid by the cart or the what's it called? The box on a cargo container. They get paid by the container. So if there's less containers coming in and they're doing less hours and like they're moving less stuff, they're not getting paid as much. So like you don't realize how much your like 15% tariff, because it just sounds like a small number because it's just like, oh, it's just 15%. Who like that in terms of total proportion of trade, that is a lot of fucking trade. That is a huge amount of trade that we're just like throwing away. And the thing is that if the tariffs were liberal, I'd be okay with it because there's things that tariffs rightfully address, like electric vehicles. China was totally trying to flood the industry with like really, really uber cheap EVs so they could be like the dominant like player in that industry before any Western companies get to it. And they totally like took over Europe with that. So tariffs are actually useful when they're like used like sort of a scalpel or a needle with a fine point. But when you use them like a chainsaw, you get nothing and you ruined your dinner because now you're putting tariffs on the Penguin Islands. You're putting tariffs on fruits that can't come from anywhere but this island, meaning that you just made this fruit blank more expensive for no reason. Like, there's no way we can Americanly, domestically produce this thing. So why are we tariffing them?
It's
It's simple
possible.
things like that.
It's
Huh?
possible. We
No, it's
can we
not,
can do some
bro. And the fact that you
greenhouse
think that is so
freaking.
lame, I'd rather do trade with that country that sells me that rando fruit
All
than
right,
have to
well,
like bring my magic beans over here and grow my own Ringo fruit in worse, like, agricultural conditions. So it's going to be a poor quality. It's going to be sort of like lab manufactured, GMO filled slop alternative that everybody who's been to the actual island and had the real fruit is telling me, you're missing out, you stupid Westerner. This real fruit's actually banging over here. And you have it worse because you live in stupid capitalist countries. And I'll put my head down in shame because they'll be right, right? It's fine to have a little bit of globalism. It's fine to trade with people. It's fine to sell goods and it's fine to buy goods. It's
Yeah,
fine to have a bit of
but
debt. We have a
but
lot
the
of debt, okay?
but the argument is that we're relying too much on the global, so we're kind of like pushing it back. We're not like completely. I mean, I know the rhetoric is like to kind of exaggerate and say like, oh, we're going to completely do everything our own. Like that's not necessarily going to be the case, even if that is like a goal that he's going to try and do. Well, I mean, if it was the goal, then everything would be 100% tariffed or
We get the
1,000%
markets
tariffed
like
or whatever. But
an inroad to the American market is literally a ticket out of poverty for these countries. Like if you are in with the Western like hemisphere, you're in big time, bro. And the thing is that like it's just I really I don't know why this stupid idea has gotten into people's heads. It really is just dumber nationalism. Like I like the fact that I'm like talking to people on a computer that was made with different parts from literally like every single corner of the earth that's been assembled together. That's a cool thing. I like that. And I want that to continue. I don't think everything needs to be made on some predetermined patch of dirt. Like it doesn't need to be on my like country, my continent for me to, appreciate it, to enjoy it, to use it, to find value in it. Like this I think honestly, I think globalism is a beautiful endeavor, and I think the slandering that we've seen sort of just over these past couple decades where people will use globalist almost as like a slur. They'll throw it at you because it's a gross thing to be. It's not. It's a humane, it's an incredibly progressive thing to be. And I think that nationalism is a disease that is holding humanity back. It's a tool that if we use it well, it'll function to a good end. But I think that globalism is a beautiful.
I think the reason why globalism gets a nasty rap is because a lot of people, when they say globalism, they associate with like just mass immigration, and we have like a big problem with that. Like they probably shouldn't. They probably shouldn't. I mean, well, there's a perceived, at least say there's a perceived massive issue with like immigration.
You can perceive anything. Though. Like, yeah, this is like.
I mean, I'm not.
A psychotic. There is a psychosis going around. I agree. Thank you for putting it into words.
Yeah, you can. Yes. Okay. I'm not saying it for you to agree with it. I'm just like this is the reasoning for why this is like. Why?
It's bad reasoning, and that's what I need to do. I need to open these people's minds, bro. Because it's not just that. It's like you have been scare tactics so hard when it comes to like migrants, bro. The real reason your life sucks is because wealth inequality is fucking out of control in this country. It is actually wild. That's the real problem. The problem is not that some guy named Pedro or Juan is coming here and doing your job at like middle management somewhere better than you.
So I don't think that.
The problem is that
I know a lot of people feel that way though. My life doesn't suck. I don't think my life sucks. But like, I know what you mean. The sentiment that a lot of people feel like their life sucks because like the immigration issue. Like, yeah, I understand that that's been like, I guess, propaganda thrown into the minds of a lot of people, and that's why people believe it. But like, I mean, if there was no truth to it, then it would just fizzle out easily. But there's some truth to it, enough to where it stays in place.
Well, no, there's like a perceived truth to it. Because there's like, so here's the thing is that things are always going to happen. Bad things will happen. Like, this is just the fact of the world. And it's just a matter of where you're showing the camera. Because like, I have to hear about Laken Riley. Why do I have to hear about this? Who cares? Who cares that there was a person who was an illegal immigrant and there was a person who was not? An illegal immigrant killed her. Who cares? Like, I can show you videos of Mormons killing non-Mormons. I can show you videos of Jews killing non-Jews. I can show you videos of Christians killing non-Christians. I can show you videos of non-Christians killing Christians. Why do I need to see, like, who cares that this one thing happened?
So,
it's a stupid thing to obsess over.
I get it, but I feel like the way to counter that is more, you gotta your side needs to get more propaganda. You need to win the propaganda war, and you guys aren't winning the propaganda war.
We have been beaten down by a wave of bots, a wave of actual psychotic drones.
Then get a wave of bots.
Nothing, think nothing. They are. There is
no. But I'm saying ghetto. If that's the issue, get ghetto. Play the same game.
No.
Well, then that's why you're going to lose.
Yeah, I'm not willing to. I'm not like.
You think it's all dumb and stuff.
There are bad methods. I don't think that's a good method. Like,
yeah, but now you're just getting in the way of your own. Is it bad enough to where you're going to stoop down to play the same game as what they're doing, or is it not bad enough yet to actually stoop down to their level?
I think that we can get far enough with honesty, and I think we just need to be pointed. I think we need to be honest, and I think we need to be direct. I think we need to be more confident in ourselves. Like, I don't think it needs to be this game of like snakes. I think you can just walk up, puff your chest out, and stand your ground, because you're right about, like, I'm saying but us.
Yeah.
Like we're right about 90% of these points. Like, we're like, most of the time we have our fucking heads on our shoulders. Like, this notion that, I don't know, it's one of those things where it'll get better with, I guess, the next sort of generation of politics filling in. I think there'll be a couple.
My prediction of the next election is a total pendulum swing. Either a total pendulum swing back to a Democrat that completely erases everything that Trump does, or we continue with the populist route. And if we continue with the populist route, then I'll be like, okay, maybe Destiny was right to be afraid of this.
No, but like you understand that's how you get there, right? Like that is the start to it.
Yeah, but he's not is Trump doing anything like legitimately trying to like make it so that he can't like cuz like people voted for this, but maybe the reason Trump won both those times was because no one was going to vote for a woman. Maybe that's a theory that's out there that has some weight where Trump only won because
I mean, that's
the women.
also why they don't run Buttigieg. A gay guy is not going to win. That's the thing is that, bro, like, yeah, seriously, like, it's not, a woman is not going to win. A gay guy is not going to win. Like, you really do just have to believe, like, which vibe is going in the right direction. And it's just like, we're getting worse progressively because it's just chopped, bro. It's very chopped.
I really do think we're gonna keep getting switching, like major switches back and forth because we had Trump and then we had Biden,
liberals
and
just
then we
don't
got
do
Trump
anything.
again.
We're not strong. We are lame. We're weak. We're stupid, and we're incompetent. Like we don't have a unified front to present. We have no good media management. We have no good sourcing. We have no good on the ground. Like the closest we have to actually interesting shit right now is like John Oliver, Channel 5. Maybe a bit of Destiny. It's like, who cares? These are fucking randos. These are randos. These are actual randos. And they're randos with a cavalcade of allegations floating around in their past. So they will always hit that invisible ceiling and never manage to break out into a mainstream enough audience to make an impact. It's like we're stuck in hell, bro. We're stuck in actual hell. And meanwhile, you have no dude, I'm about to say some wild shit. You have these these conservative cucks who look like drones, who sound like actual ChatGPT robots, the Benny Johnsons of the world, bro. This guy is getting invites to the White House. Kill me.
I mean,
kill me. This guy is a Twitter loser, bro. This guy is an idiot. This guy is a 5 IQ idiot who I hate that we live in this timeline.
So I don't watch him, and I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of big political commentators on the right, not including Tim Pool. I will always defend Tim Pool, but other people like I would
him, bro.
Well,
Fuck
before you say that, let me get this other thing out there. But like, the Benny Johnsons, I saw little bits and pieces. I never watched him. The only reason I started watching him because people started criticizing him on the left. I'm like, okay, what's going on with this guy? I never really cared for this guy. I don't really need to defend him. But then I saw some of his stuff, and I'm like, okay, I see why people aren't doing that. But the reason he's being invited to the White House is because we have a guy that's very similar to the way that he speaks and does things in the White House. So, I mean, like, it kind of makes sense why he's there. They kind of collect their own. And we also have, I feel like Trump was the win of, like, just the common, unpolitically educated person that doesn't really pay too much attention to politics. Like, they ended up winning because I remember at, like, my old job when Trump won, it was like a disproportionate amount of people that wanted Trump to win there. And let's just say that my old job didn't have the brightest people, but they all loved him. And I'm like, okay, all right. So there's definitely some validity for, like, I guess Trump won the quote unquote dumb vote or retarded vote or whatever you want to call it. But I feel like there's so many more votes for that because there's just such little amount of people that put in the time to actually educate themselves into looking into this type of stuff. And also the vibes aspect as well. Like, that's a big key player, which I feel like that's why ever since the internet age, I feel like we're going to keep on swinging back and forth with the propaganda until at least maybe one side gets the upper hand and has like a really good presidency. Like, I'm not even sure if we're going to have another swing. It's too early. We're not even done with the first year of the 4 years of Trump. And so much has happened. A lot of people on the right say a lot of good things have happened. So much more than has ever before, or whatever the exaggeration is. And people on the left are saying, well, there's like so much bad things Trump has done since he came in. but like I still feel like we're basically like the opinion of America has dropped, but I feel like that's not really that big of a deal. Like we're gonna have 4 years of this guy, and then we're gonna have another 4 years of another guy. He'll probably end up raising the spirits again. Like I just don't think, my main criticism of the whole political stuff is that I feel like some people take it way too seriously, Destiny included. And I feel like we're not seeing all the, I feel like he's being way too hyperbolic for no reason. Like the whole, he's making these very crazy points, like the whole, like it was just unnecessary to make a joke about the whole the firefighter thing. That wasn't really necessary at all. Like we're not to the point to where we need to start joking about people dying. And then the whole Texas flooding thing, where he wanted to make a whole policy point of like they should have had they shouldn't have blocked the policy, but he should have like said something about the policy and not just be like, yeah, these kids, and then making fun of like their religion, basically, like, oh, God didn't like these kids because of that. Like there was nothing to do with policy. Like he kind of said the policy thing after the fact, as if he was trying to scapegoat from it. But like there's no reason to do that, because like I feel like it's not that serious. And I really wish I would have I had more time to talk about the Tectone stuff with him, because that video with him talking to Tectone was actually very revealing on like why, like the everyday, like the Asmongold's, the Tectones, just the uninformed, but still somehow they're able to like understand like perfectly what Trump wants to do, even though they don't really care too much about politics. And that's my mini spiel on that, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's sad. I think that people who think that are kind of like.
Oh yeah, I did mention the Tim Pool thing. You can bash him now if you want.
Yeah. I think that I think that you're right in that it is kind of like the idiot vote time. Like we just sort of have to tolerate them now. I think it's sad. I think you shouldn't just have to accept it. I think it is kind of okay to say, I don't like that this is the people who have to be appeased right now.
I'm not saying you need to accept it. I'm saying, but I would see this. Is like, I would see
president, bro.
I mean, okay. I mean, it's to expect it, but I don't think you should. Like, you could still have your criticisms. I'm not saying you shouldn't criticize it. It's just that I to be honest, I think this is actually what makes the American system really good. Like, we were able to have like the intelligent, like we had the Barack Obamas. Biden wasn't really an intelligentsia like Obama, but Obama was like the elite, right? Like this really smart and charismatic type person. But then we're able to also have the Trumps of the world, and still
Obama was a careful unweaving of the world that Bush thrust us into.
To be honest, I'm too young to even understand how Bush was even. I have no recollection of what Bush should have been or how he was. I have a little bit of Obama, but I was like, what, in the third grade when he got voted in for the first time? Like,
yeah, I think if you look back and you just watch a couple things, you could put the pieces together. Like, it makes sense, the sort of political story. The thing that changed everything was that one recount of Bush v. Gore, where Al Gore could have won the recount, but it went up to the Supreme Court and they just tossed it out for no reason. If you won that recount, you would have won the election. And then we wouldn't have had Bush. Maybe we wouldn't have had the Iraq War. It would have been whole different situation.
Yeah, I feel like our system is like the best in the world. Like, we're able to have the elite, and then we're also able to have the Trumps of the world. But I don't feel like we're going to get stuck. I think that the cool thing is that we're not going to get stuck in one or the other, because we're always going to have dumb people. That's just what, like, not everyone's going to be smart, and their vote's going to have to count and be represented at some point. So I like the fact that we're able to kind of switch back and forth now. And I think the internet age is kind of exaggerating that to the max degree. I
but
can't.
when it exaggerates, this is the thing: is that like it sounds all fun and games when you're like a kid, like he. The reason I want there to be like tests, like you should have to pass an actual test, like a 5-question test on every single social media website about a foreign policy topic before you were allowed to post, comment, like, receive anything on your page relating to the topic of or discussion of the topics of foreign policy, of global politics. Like you should just not be allowed to even think or have your voice heard until you prove that you have like a spine or a soul or like 2 functioning brain cells. And the reason I want this so desperately is because dumb people used to have some kind of like sense of like I will bow my head when someone more intelligent than me takes the reins. And we lost that. We lost it a long time ago. And we need to have it back because stupid people really do just need to learn humility and they need to it's just sit like know your place, bro. Like sit the fuck down and know your place. I know that you're mad. Don't act like a baby. Okay? We design everything. We're the smart people. If you have a master's degree, if you have a bachelor's degree, like you are a Democrat, chances are if you pursue higher education. We're the ones who are designing your technology, who are programming the shit that you use. That like if you live in a house and you had like construction for it done, the machinery and the technology used to help aid in that construction was probably developed by someone who had the same political beliefs as me. We are your glue. We are your bread and butter. You need us because we are also the most economically productive in this country. It is always the population centers. It is always these big coagulations of blue people that run the states, that subsidize the other surrounding states. Like, you are less important. You represent less of an alignment with our interests. Like, I don't want you voting to bring back. We're not bringing back coal. We're not doing that. We're not digging with pickaxes like Minecraft men. We are going to be we are going to have nuclear facilities like adults because we are intelligent.
True.
We are the leader of the free world, and we're not fucking losers who have to go back to smoking on black rocks to fuel our shit. This is lame. This is lame and it's gay. It's
So
lame and it's gay and you know it.
I get that, but don't you think the reason why I guess the humility disappeared is because more and more people on, let's just say, your side, for quote unquote, what for the sake of this conversation, is like being more and more what do you call it? What is it called? Kind of like talking down at them. At a sense, like no one really likes that, and this is like a vibed argument, but like I don't know.
I know, but you should just have
like,
less confidence then. If you don't like that,
yeah, but
be less
they're going
confident
to
going in, bro.
they're going to be very spite driven, and I feel like that's why Trump ended up winning, because a lot of people didn't like.
Fuck him, then
You
get
get
bitten, bro. You wanted him in the vein of getting bitten because you thought the other side had bit you, but it was a phantom bite. There was no bite. You were tricked into thinking there was a bite, so you wanted to bite back. All right. Now when actual bites are being fucking thrown, you bitch and you scream, bro. Like we are not allowed to do anything. We are literally not allowed to do anything. Like.
I mean, but like, well, like, cause like the Hillary Clinton stuff. I saw her. Well, when I started watching the like later on when I rewatched the stuff. At the time, I had no idea. I thought Hillary was gonna win, and then randomly Trump just wins, and I'm like, wait, what? Everyone kept saying that Trump was gonna lose. So, but beside that, when I started watching the old stuff of like the old debates between them, I was like, oh, I kind of see how Trump won that. Hillary kind of seemed very, very condescending towards Trump, and it had the perceived like let's just say knowledge, for the lack of a better word, perceived thing, as Trump always defending himself between like the debates and stuff, because Hillary was always like very it seemed like she was nagging. So like it was the woman aspect, but also the very condescending aspect as well, where it like that kind of like catalytic. That's kind of started it. Biden didn't really have that.
Is she
Biden,
was right, and you like the problem is she was right, and like
yeah, but the thing is,
you should throw
even
down
though
about the fact that she was right
yeah,
about everything.
she's right, but like no one, you know, people are very like there's like you can be logic and be right, but that doesn't mean you're going to win with people that just do not care if you're right at that point. Some people, I think a lot of people value like being right is a high.
To me that you have to convince me that I have to treat these people like they're even more of retarded children. Like you're making me just want to not give a fuck, and like I will policy shame the fuck out of you. The moment my incumbent is in office, I will beat your ass. We will have some like post-Civil War reconstruction of the South type shit, okay? We will have the military down there to get you fuckers in line, all right? There will be diversity. You will have trans people in your bathrooms, and you're gonna like it. And Air Force One's gonna fucking be there. So it's like,
yeah, but then
this
you're
shit
gonna
does need to happen. And the problem is that like
you're
you
just
should
gonna
like but the problem is you're bitch made. All these people are bitch made and they're cry bullies. They're the biggest fucking cry bullies. Like, bro, these are the guy who Trump was the one making fun of that one fucking autist reporter who was like spurging out. And bro, and we get this huge defense campaign, like literally this crazy defense campaign or locker room talk. You heard that go around? Locker room talk.
yeah.
You get these wild defenses thrown out. But when Gavin Newsom calls a person who's in a wheelchair, he calls them Hot Wheels. Oh my God. Let's have let's have 2 whole days of Fox News segments about this, guys. Let's have 2 full fucking days of this being the only thing that people see on their
Yeah.
TV screens.
I mean,
For fucking days on millions of people. It is literally the most popular channel in the world, bro. It's literally
yeah.
it
but
is the most popular news channels. Period.
But do you realize that in during the first
It's fake, and
presidency,
it's fake. You acknowledge it's fake, right? You acknowledge it is just literally fake, right?
I don't know for a fact if it is fake, but I'll just take your
No,
word for it
is
for right
fake.
now.
It's fake
But like
and it's gay.
the
It's
point
fake and it's gay.
the point that I want to make though is that during 2016, like the whole 2016 through 2020 stuff, less in the 2020 era, but like from 2016 onward, even from 2015, like all you had was like a bunch of CNN articles saying how bad Trump is and stuff like that. Like this every new way of like all this basically negativity about Trump, like every article all the time.
Right, bro.
It was just random stuff.
He had a business.
Well, it wasn't really
where he
right.
got found guilty, bro. Hold on. He had a business where he was found guilty of discriminating against black people. Like if you had 2 people go in and be like, "Hello, can I purchase a Trump property?" And if it's a white guy, they say, "Sure, welcome in." If it's a black guy, they say, "No, get out." And the reason they knew is because they started pressing. They did a mock thing to see which person would get thing. The only difference was the race, and the guy who was white got accepted, and the black guy got kicked out. They investigated it. They grilled the guy who's interviewing, and he goes, "Look, it's not my policy. It comes from the top. This is my boss ordering me to do this." And like there was literally lists of people where if you were black, they put a C next to your name, colored, because they didn't want black people in his apartment buildings. Everybody knew this, and he lost that case. He lost that case, and everybody knew that for years. And SNL was joking about it, bro. Larry David was running cover for Trump, bro. They were literally sucking his dick. They were like, "Trump's a racist," and then Trump goes, "Oh, said that? Is it you, Larry David?" And Larry David goes, someone said they'd give me $100 if I said it. So it was even their joke. Their joke was that people accused Trump of being racist with no reason, even though he literally lost a case and everybody knew it. It was just true. It was true and everybody was right to say it. He also said we're going to ban all
Yeah.
Muslims from coming into the country. He also said oh yeah, what was it? He put out like a 2-page ad on the Parkland or the something 5. What was it? It was like the New York City 5, who were like these falsely accused black people who were trying to get like he were trying to be basically killed because he wanted like them to get fucking prosecuted and shit. Bro, it's wild. It is literally the most wild shit.
Yeah,
Always been wild.
I
And
agree.
everyone wants cover for it, bro.
I agree that Trump basically is Trump is like the sole connector for the 2 different worlds that exist out there right now, for like all the people that hate Trump and see all the negative things that are actually true about him. But then you have all the people that love Trump and see all the negative things, and they just say, "Oh, it's just another bad thing that people are just lying about." Like everyone keeps the issue is that there's too much. There's too much stuff, too much negative things that are correct and also incorrect about Trump, and everyone is looking at their own.
Not true. Not true. Every time he gets up, he should say, "Oh, hello, Trump,"
Then why
and
is
there
that?
should be a little tag underneath that says "found civilly liable for sexual assault." That's what should happen. And it should
Yeah,
be
but no
legally
one.
required that they should do that.
Yeah, but the claim
In front
the
of a
claim
jury,
wouldn't.
they should have another
It's
tag
true.
under that
It's
that says
true.
"in front of a jury."
It's true, but the claim wouldn't be, "Oh, he was found liable." Like, the people that like Trump are going to get bombarded with, "Oh, the guy that was convicted of rape," which that wasn't true. He didn't get convicted of rape. He got found liable of that. But that's the lie. That's the over exaggeration of the lie that most people that they'll say, "Oh, dismiss like the whole rape allegations and stuff like that," because they hear the over exaggerated nonsense all the time.
Said it would be defensible to call it rape, right? Like the judge who adjudicated the case said, "Yeah, in common language, you could say."
In common language, but like that's not technically true. Like, he didn't get convicted of rape. That's not true. But I guess you could call it that.
Because the legal definition for rape required that he put his penis in her vagina, but he didn't. He only used his fingers when he forcibly entered himself into her body. So technically, it wasn't rape because his dick wasn't involved, but he still did violate her consent.
Also,
that's the reason he only got the sexual assault.
Okay, the sexual assault, and not okay. Well, I mean, yeah, but that was also like a very long time ago.
This is literally clown shit. Is that I have to take this shit seriously?
Yeah,
bro,
well,
you lost the case. You got your ass handed to you in the case, and you want to know another funny thing is like there's my two favorite fat L's was that one, the fraud one, and it's got to be the election, bro. He said it was rigged. So he said, we're going to investigate it. Lindsey Graham does a fucking line of cocaine, gets up, says, we're doing the Kraken. You remember the Kraken? And it was going to be this huge investigation to uncover all the fraud that they had found related to the election. They're going to find all of it. 62 cases are launched. They lose all of them.
Yeah,
some of the judges who threw out your cases were Republicans. And they were not just Republicans, they were Republicans who were appointed by your administration. You are a loser. Like, sit the fuck down. You are a loser. Bro, I don't know what else to say about this shit.
Yeah, I mean, there really isn't anything else to say because, like, he believed what he wanted to believe, and he had a lot of people surrounding him, basically espousing.
Surrounded by psychotic people.
Yes. I mean, yes, I get it. But he's now in power, and he ended up winning, and now we kind of have to like
because a bunch of emotionally irresponsible infants were given the reins for a little bit, and now the adults have to come back in the room and go, okay, you just ruined all of our foreign relations, and trade is going to take a while to get back to where it was under Biden because you completely disrupted the global economy with your stupid tariff bullshit, and you did nothing domestically because you gave $800 billion in tax breaks to only the oil companies, $1 trillion in tax cuts to only 1%, and you made ICE the 7th largest military in terms of funding on the planet when literally their only job would be to kick out brown people who are doing manual labor. Thank you, Trump. You really made us great again. That's what has to happen, okay? And then the people who have a fucking brain, all right, and who have been talked down to and been told to have been quiet and nice and respectful because a lot of people believe this stuff. You're right. A lot of people also believe in the fucking tooth fairy. The reason we don't have to deal with these people's opinions is because these people are toddlers. They are in school right now, okay? And in the same way, the toddlers in the situation should be taken out of the room, sat down, given a microphone to have a podcast with like 30 people, and then never get into politics again. That's what if we lived in a world where Marjorie Taylor Greene was just doing that and was not wielding the levers of power of the largest and most powerful country in the world right now, I wouldn't give a shit. But it's literally like you have a whiny, stupid mom. Like, it's not just that it's the worst parts of a mother that you don't want to see, the smugness, the moral self-righteousness, the stupidity, like the very, very blunt stupidity. And I think the voice also just pisses me off. It's just like it's nutters. It's nutters. It's nutters, bro. It is nutters.
Yeah, I feel like we're not gonna. I mean, there's definitely some problems that we're gonna have to deal with, but I don't think we have any. Like, I don't think there's gonna be some major long-term issue where if Trump's in office for 4 years, where like the country's gonna be destroyed, or the destruction of the country is gonna like end up happening, and we're gonna die or something.
Well, we're
Like, I
gonna
don't.
destroy. Well, we do destroy other countries, and we don't notice it. So, like, Trump
Slickprike
backed the
420.
wrong side
N.
in the Libya fight,
Slickprike 420.
right? Like we were on the side of the Russia, Turkey, like, Libyan National Council, which was that we were fighting against the UN-backed people. We went against the United Nations to back ourselves with Putin and no, it was the Saudis, I think. Like, why are we doing this? Like, thousands of people just died. If America put their foot down and stood with the UN, that entire conflict wouldn't have happened. But he got suckered into this one like meeting. The guy said, "Help us fight terrorism," without really explaining what that meant. So then he basically flipped on America's position on Libya because he was tricked by their dictator. And then same thing with the Kurds. Like, these are people who are helping us fight ISIS, right? These are probably, I have so much respect for the Kurds. They've had to deal with a lot of shit. Like, the Kurds are one of the best groups that we could be aligned with in that region. And we abandoned them, leading to like hundreds of them dying and over 100,000 of them getting displaced because Al-Qaeda Turkish-backed death squads come in and start beheading people. Why are we doing this? He did this to try and curb like or to win over anti-war voters by making it look like he's reducing overseas conflict. He just killed a bunch of brown people and then dipped, and then nobody cares. So we ruin other countries' legacies. And now 380,000 people right now are dead in a couple of months because of the USAID cuts. The estimation right now is that 14 million people are going to die by 2030 because of the USAID cuts.
The US,
That's
the
like
US.
a Holocaust. That is a Holocaust of black people, of poor, starving, dying black people with AIDS in foreign countries, in Africa specifically. It's literally so morally obvious that you should be bullied for not understanding it.
I
It's
know,
like,
I
it's a
understand it.
cartoon.
I understand. It's just that, but like the intent of doing the cutting the USID wasn't to delete a bunch of black people. That wasn't the intent of that at all. No one's
It's a
arguing
predictable
that.
outcome. Like,
That wasn't a
you can say that the
predictable
intent of
outcome.
me,
That
like,
was
throwing
the
a brick off the
outcome.
bridge was like
That-
the intent of me throwing a brick off the bridge was to make a big splash in the water below. But when people came under in a gondola and I fractured that woman's skull, like, it doesn't matter what my intent was. I was doing a dangerous thing. I fucked around and I killed a lot of people. Now, I'm not allowed to have power anymore because I'm too much of an unstable toddler. And frankly, the rest of the world doesn't even know what my side of the story is because I defunded all of the overseas radio. This was how hundreds of thousands of people got their news every day. It was American funded and backed radio stations in dictatorships in foreign countries. The global south listened to us on these things. Okay, people in the Middle East listened to us on these things. And it was the right side of the story. And now they're not even hearing our side of the story. And we have nothing to tell them because we're only losing. We're only doing worse and worse and worse things. Like, we're killing the poorest. We're not helping people who should obviously be helped. We have no unified front to present to the world. We are shattered. We are broken. We're displaced. Like, things are gonna hurt. They're gonna hurt for a while before they get better because we're doing really, really self-destructive, dumb shit.
Yeah, I mean, I see that. I mean, the U.S. is always damaging and destroying and having very, very negative and sometimes positive.
Sometimes it's great.
And sometimes positive.
It stops genocides. Sometimes it comes in and it protects an innocent country, and that's a good thing to be. I want America to look like that. But I don't want America to be like what it was after the Iraq War. I don't want America to be the Vietnam War era America. I don't like that America. That America is run by Republicans, and that America is a disgusting one. I want the America where we go into Kosovo and we save the Kosovars. I want the America who is standing with a Kuwaiti who has been liberated after we've beaten off Hussein. That is the American I want to see, okay? Because these people are angels. These people are gods amongst men. It is the most humane thing that you can do. There's nothing more beautiful than the pictures of people like fleeing Dachau into the arms of like an American soldier. Like, that's the coolest thing ever. That like like when World War I rolled around and the American planner got there, they worshipped him at his feet. They like priests were crying because it was so important to them. That's what the Western world could be. We could be angels of peace coming into end, war and deliberation. But we're not. We're losers. We're losers who do and know nothing. And we fuck ourselves. We shoot ourselves in the foot over and over and over again. I hate it. I hate it because
this is the price of freedom, though. This is the price
no,
of freedom.
It's not. We're not even free. Like, we have worse wealth mobility. We have worse income inequality. Like, for what freedoms do we get, bro? I can get weed in fucking like Norway, bro. Everything about my life would have been better, just like statistically, just like on rolling a set of dice, if I was born into one of the Nordic countries rather than here. So what I want in terms of politics is to make our country look as much like the Nordic countries as possible in order to, achieve something of that level, of that status. And I think we can get there. We just need to work for it.
I think the system we have is more fair, though, because like you let the people that you let the people that you disagree with into power and they do their thing, but it's not enough to like.
Well, I mean, two-party system. That's archaic. Like, at least we don't even have like a good Congress. We don't.
We have a two-party system, but we do technically have more parties. It's just that no one really votes for them.
Exactly, but I want more multipolarity. I want more like diversity.
Yeah, Canada kind of has something like that, but there's some issues that there's unique issues for all different types of systems. But I mean, I see what you're saying, and I agree for the most part. It's just that I agree that there's problems that America has, and a lot of the things that the US that Trump is doing with the US is kind of like making our system like bad, I guess. Like the unintentional destruction of the unintentional outcomes of the destruction of USAID. Like a lot of people on the right say, well, it's for the greater good. Now we don't have all this like wasteful spending. Like Trump did run on that as like a really big thing, and he tried.
There was one funny thing that I read.
And he did try and do it.
When Marco Rubio put out a statement on the White House website, when he put out, or no, it was Substack. When he put out a statement, it said, since its inception, USAID has spent unchecked over 700 billion United States. It's like 732 billion United States dollars. And he tries to make it like this big sort of like grand number. And it's just like, that is 1 year of defense spending, bro. That is a singular calendar year of defense spending. And since its inception, since it was literally created, it has spent that much money. That is 1 year of our defense sector.
Yeah, but would you think that a lot of the MAGA people would say that defense spending is like waste?
They wouldn't, bro, because Doge didn't touch that. You thought they would, but they caved to the neocons in the end because Doge was poking around, and Trump made that one exploratory statement where he's like, and in the Pentagon, we might have to look there too with Doge. And I'm not the first one to say it, and it's not a great thing to say, but we have to look there too. Maybe there's fraud, who knows? That's what he said, and nothing came from that. There was no investigations into the DoD. There was no forcing them to audit themselves. There was no check of like all their shit. Like none of that happened because they're completely bought into those interests. It's like, bro, it's a joke too. We know this. They've been the warmonger. Like, Republicans want war. They love war. If you tell them war, like, they get a boner. And this sort of like, edging that we're doing now politically, where Republicans have to jerk themselves off on the idea, like, they're laughing while they're doing it. It's like, Trump has ended 5 wars. No, the fuck he hasn't, bro. And you don't even care. You can't name these countries. You can't point to these countries on a map, bro. First of all, he didn't.
I mean, it's a technicality. He did like stop some wars that no one really talks about. That he
wasn't even important in any of those. He wasn't even important. Like,
one of the countries literally had a like, you guys would call it a cringe celebration of like Trump. Like basically having it was like some sort of celebration where they had like a bunch of Trump like pictures in the background, and they were just giving their thanks to Donald Trump and then trying to like nominate him for the Nobel Peace Prize.
Lasers, bro.
Yeah, I forget which country it was, but like they stated what it was, and I was like, oh, okay, so I guess that's the thing he's talking about. But no
What
one
I'm
talks
saying is
about
that
that.
like you guys love fucking wars. You really do. Like
Well, but wait,
you
wait,
will
wait, wait,
start
wait.
conflict.
Before like the whole the Republican thing. So like when you say Republican, do you mean the new Republican that Trump completely like turned MAGA into, or do you mean like old Republican that a lot
I'm
of
saying who you are, bro. I like that's the thing.
yeah, but
You are the
don't you think
fuckers who
that's
vote.
difference? Don't you think there's like a major difference with like MAGA Republican versus like normal like neocon old Republican?
No, it is important because I want these people to know how unbelievably they've been duped. Like, bro, even if you're not like a nutter neocon, that's the crazies who you support, bro. They are all nutter warhawks and they want to kill brown people. Like, it you I don't even
I
know.
I don't believe that they just want to. I mean, the framing is so wild. I like
You know
they're
he pardoned people who
neocons,
did war crimes,
and
right?
they
You know
do
he
a lot
pardoned
of
people.
they do a
But hold
lot
on.
of
You
wars
know
and stuff within the Middle East. But like framing is like, oh, they just want to kill brown people. That's the thing that I'm like there's no. It's just it's
because
not
war is useful
necessary.
politically. That's what they want to do. They need someone to scapegoat. War is politically useful, so they do it. And you'd be
I
like,
can
why do we have problems? It's terrorists.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that. But framing as like, oh, they only want to kill brown people. That's where you lose me.
Not only, but if what they do comes at the expense of killing brown people, then they do want to do that because they know to
Yeah,
achieve
but
that end.
you're just playing a little semantic game on that. Where like, yes, you're
That's semantics.
technically correct, but
True,
that's
bro.
not
If that's what your
really.
outcomes lead to, bro, you want that, bro. Like I'll own it. If I have to stand on something and be like, you want dead babies because you believe in abortions, I'm like, I do, because I don't think that baby
Yeah, but I don't think that's fair either.
was a
They
cause for me.
people when the pro life people just say, oh, you just want to kill people because you want babies because you want abortions. I'm like, no, that's not true. Like that's an
Yeah,
over
no, it's
exaggeration.
like, but I'll stand on it. I'll bite it.
Now I don't
Like,
think it's
bro,
fair to characterize it that way though. I feel like that's just extreme for no
I
reason.
think
It's very misleading.
it's accurate enough. There was some
It's
really gross shit that nobody has received repercussions for. Like, there's a reason why nobody else liked us after we did it. It really did just fucking ruin us.
Wait, what are you talking
So we
about
had dealings
specifically?
with you. Iraq.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
it's
there's some reasonings what they gave for us for why they went in there because like 9/11 and everything.
well, not they. Republicans did. Keep in mind, it was the nutter neocons who were pressuring everybody.
Okay.
There's a video that I want to show you. There was an attack ad on a Democrat politician where it's only his face. It's only his face, and it's questioning his allegiance to America because he voted against the defense bill. And the reason they had to crop only his face when they were doing the smear campaign, which was deliberately questioning whether or not he was committed to the defense of their country, right? That's the smear they were trying to attack him with. The reason they only showed his face is because his arm and both of his legs were blown off by a landmine in Vietnam. If they're willing to go so low that they will slander and smear this guy as not being aligned with the security of America, just to like push their war point, you are far gone. That's where politics is back then. That's how bad it is.
I agree that the neocon stuff of the old Republican is starting to fuse with the like MAGA Republican, which I feel like it's much more fair to like I don't care for the old Republican because like I don't really know them at all. All I know is the Trump Republican version. So like I don't think it's
yeah. Like at least that one was boring. At least when they did bad shit, it was incredibly boring. Your guy just does bad shit, and it's the most obvious bad shit, and then we just are forced to forget about it because something even worse just showed up. So it's just like
meme it, like meme it, like oh the alligator Alcatraz thing. Like you guys think it's like the worst thing ever. Like oh you're just throwing just random like just visa people into the thing when the way I would characterize it is that it's a prison that has alligators and people that do crimes go there, and I don't see there's not really that big of an issue on that. But but that's like a whole world
You
divide
don't
there
think
on
like
one
maybe
specific
you're on
thing.
the fucking idiot side for a little bit when you're like, yes, hello, I'm the president. You know what's a problem? Crime's a problem. You know what we do to stop crime? You got a big fuck off prison with alligators swimming around. So here we are at Alcatraz, which is a famous prison, by the way, and we're bringing it back to take all the criminals and put them there. Vote for me, and take out your cell phone device and put out a hashtag about how epic this is. You don't think we're in like the idiot timeline when this is what politicians are doing? Like, can you accept this is literally like
This is
unbelievable
this
stuff?
is this is not the elites. I can say that this is not how the elites. This is like the normal average person.
You're
That's
right, which makes it
uninformed.
more dumb, and it makes it more fun to watch as someone who has any kind of like standard for how political officials should act.
I can
Like,
agree
we have
with
lost all standards. We've lost literally every standard because he breaks them all the time. And now it's just sort of like seeing how far he can go with like examples you know will end up in a history textbook. Like the fact that we're looking at like crypto ads during a military parade. I think this is really funny. I think it's
yeah
funny and it's really
it's
which,
yeah
by the
I,
way, was a forced military parade that we didn't have to do, that he did just to celebrate his own birthday, that cost millions of dollars in taxpayer money because they had to repave all the fucking roads because the tanks were too heavy and broke all the fucking asphalt, bro. It is a joke. It is a joke. It literally is like a
yeah
clown circus show, bro.
and I'm not gonna lie, a lot of people love it. Like Asmongold said it
They
himself,
do
he's the
because they see
content
themselves
president,
in it. I agree. I agree because they're like, this is as stupid and as
and they
like
can relate
gullible.
to it too.
Yeah,
That's the
fuck
thing.
you, dude. Think better of yourself, bro. I hate having to court these people.
Well,
Oh, it's just them. It's just how stupid they are. Fuck them, bro. Don't make my country worse because you're a dipshit. Bro, we were going in the right direction with Obama. We were going somewhere, okay? And now we're going nowhere. We're going to
yeah,
hell.
but
We're going back to the fucking
you
dark.
got, but there was a fatal issue with what was it called? Bernie Sanders. He should have been the nominee. A lot of people despise the fact that the Democratic Party system to nominate their nominees, like it basically pushed him out of the thing. For some reason it was unfair. I don't know why, but that's like the talking point.
He just lost the vote. He just didn't have enough voters. Like Bernie, I'm sad he didn't win, but Bernie has some L takes on some specific issues. Like he wasn't
Yeah,
pro
but you
nuclear.
guys, he definitely would have beaten
And I don't like
Trump.
wealth tax. I think wealth tax is stupid.
Yeah, but that would have been way better than Trump. Right?
Yeah,
Or at
I
least
know,
in
I'm
your
trying-
like I'm saying that as if I believe that, but like I don't really know too much on Bernie. But
I agree, but like again, like
But
he
your
was an actual
system
socialist.
did that.
They were calling Obama a communist for years, bro. Like you don't have no idea how big the slander campaign was against this fucking guy. They accused his wife of being a transgender. They accused him of being a fucking fake Haitian migrant. They accused him of being gay and doing crack because there was one gay crackhead who said, "Hey, I was at the White House," and that's a dubious claim at best. And he says Obama had sex with me. And you know who interviewed that guy? Tucker Carlson, the #1 most viewed media personality figure of all time. Like he was on the TV screen of millions of people every night at 9 for years. He was cited as there was top ratings, most viewed thing. Like it's crazy.
Let me give you my actual stance on like how I feel about the whole political system. Well, besides the part where I don't take it super serious. Like there's issues, but like I don't take it to the extent to where I need to make jokes about dead kids and stuff like that. But I sympathize with
bro. Jokes about dead kids is how you know you've actually gotten there, bro.
I mean, yeah, okay, whatever. But anyways, I don't really care for the whole conspiracies that the right pushes, but I'm very sympathetic towards Trump because of all of the negative coverage that he got for his first term and all of the when I was really young, so I wasn't really paying attention to it, but the sentiment for being ill-informed, like just being a normal teenager, was that Trump was just going to lose. He was a joke. And then when he won, I'm like, wait, how? That didn't even make any sense to me. But I never really looked into it because like I didn't really care about politics at the time. So I'm very sympathetic towards Trump, and I will give him the benefit of the doubt for some of the issues that's going on here. And the issue is that a lot of people do that. A lot of people do that because like there was a lot of things that Trump was alleged or claimed that people claimed that he did that were just either gross over exaggerations or just lies. Most of it was just gross over exaggerations, which is the thing that it felt like a bunch of people were just lying about him when there was probably lots of kernels of truth that people just did not like, didn't want to be specific.
Because he's good at twisting a narrative.
Yeah. Yes, but the only reason he was able to even be in that spot in the first place because he had all these attacks to twist the narrative. Like, if you didn't exaggerate the thing, he wouldn't have like a plausible deniability like defense for it. Like,
they were right.
They weren't right with the over exaggeration. That wasn't right at all. Like, there might be kernels of truth, but no one really.
And again, if you
no,
want to
but this is the
blame Trump. Trump over exaggerates all the time. He said, "Vote for me for president. I will end the war in Ukraine in day one. It will be gone over in 24 hours." He's elected. It doesn't happen. Nobody cares. Like that should be quality. Like that should be grounds for you. In my opinion, just. You've lost right.
No, but you understand why I'm sympathetic because of all that. Like you do acknowledge that there was a lot of negative coverage of him.
I really don't feel like I need to have too much sympathy for just.
Well, but you understand why I have that, right? People, like I'm not saying you need to agree, but you understand, right?
I understand. As a human, I will not like hate you, but. Sometimes people just need to take a gracious L and like move on. People take no gracious L's anymore. I will take a gracious L.
But the thing that makes me unique, I feel like, with my perspective, is that I still see, like I disagree. I agree with most of Destiny's takes, as long as it doesn't involve Trump. Anything to do with Trump, I will sometimes agree or be like, oh no, that's a little bit of an exaggeration. But most of the time I'll be disagreeing. But the Israel stuff was the reason why I started watching his content in the first place when he started doing that.
I can hear the dick in your mouth, by the way.
Yeah.
Trump, you do not need to be blazing this fat fuck. He's fat loser rapist.
I mean, I just feel like he's been treated. I feel like he's been cheated unfairly and has like very little. I
think he treated his past wives unfairly.
Okay, but that doesn't mean people need to start like that's not justification to start treating him unfairly. Like that's justification for his past wives to.
Who he is. And that's what everybody should have like known. Like if you were going to talk about this guy, I was like, this is a scumbag. He cheated on his prior wife. He has 3 prior wives. He also bankrupted multiple businesses. Like this should just be like on his little sticker, like his placard.
Okay. Sure.
It's like if you're a scumbag behind the scenes, you should know that, right? Like I'm glad that we have like whispers of like people inside Hollywood who it's like, oh yeah, actually, what's his name? Leonardo DiCaprio is a fucking cockhead. Like I'm glad that I know that because I'm like that tracks for me as a person. Like I could see Leonardo DiCaprio and I could imagine him being a scumbag. And I look at Trump and I'm like that tracks perfectly. Actually, that makes complete sense.
Okay, but but that's like the only reason why I'm like I'm not gonna jump to the instant like the negative of like Trump and stuff like that and give him the benefit of doubt. But the conspiracy theories that's on the right. Like with the like there's a sect of the right that's like embodying the whole Palestinian movement thing that well not really the Palestinian movement but the anti-Israel type of stuff where they're just anti-Israel and I'm like I just I just don't feel like that's like
also one more thing and I'll leave.
All right. Grok.
Candace Owens of the right are incredibly annoying. I totally agree with you. Fuck those people. But I think that, like, what really needs to happen is we just need to, like, sit down and be a lot more trusting of liberals because we're right about a lot. All right. I'll see you later.
All right. See you. And with that, I think the stream is going to be done. I think we're done, guys. I think we're done. Yeah, I think we're done. Actually, I have to go to work tomorrow. So goodbye. Bye. Goodbye. Thank you for coming by.